Welcome to another installment of the Ron Henry live stream where I answer your lawn care questions. We hang out and in general just have a great time talking about lawn care stuff. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope everyone's doing really well, and really looking forward to hanging out with you guys and seeing what questions you have. It's pretty cold out, man. It's, you believe it or not, the Bermuda is still slightly green despite all the cold weather. I actually did a soil test. Actually, I'll post it tomorrow morning on to my YouTube comments, like one of the posts. I'll show you guys the temperature was like 39 degrees outside, or actually that's not true. The soil temperature was 39 degrees, and the lawn still has some green areas, which is kind of crazy. So let's see who we got in the live stream tonight. So we got Tales from the Crypto. She has the honor of being first person here. She's talking about cold weather and moles in her lawn. Can we deal with it, or is it a lost cause? I think I might be able to help you out. I think we have some options for you. Let's see what else we got here. We have Ned G from Chicago. Some questions on the lawn training. Alan Ferguson, Cedric. Thank you guys for coming to hang out. And of course, JG. Really, really good. Travis, Chaz, Grace, Super TA. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Yeah, awesome. Hope all you guys are doing well. Hope your lawns are doing well. I know probably like most of you guys, your lawn's probably going, if it's not dormant yet, it's about to go dormant. So, but again, thanks for coming to hang out tonight, and let's get to it. And again, guys, as I'm going through through the comments or questions, feel free to keep them coming. As long as you guys are asking questions, I'm going to hang out here. So let's get to our first question tonight. Oh, actually, before I say that, as you guys are on your way in, you're settling down with like your glass of lemonade, if you're like me, or whatever you happen to be drinking tonight, be sure to hit that like button on the way in. It sends some good vibes to the YouTube algorithm and lets them know that we are having a great time. All right, so our first question tonight is a good one. It's from Tales from the Crypto. She says, he's finally getting our first week of frigid weather, and the moles have attacked my entire lawn. Am I dealing with a lost cause? No, I mean, I don't know how bad the moles are. I mean, they can be pretty nasty as far as the mess they can make of the lawn, but you're not dealing with a lost cause. I already kind of posted an option for you in the chat, but when it comes to moles, there's a couple of schools of thoughts. Some people say that you kill off their food source, like you get rid of the grub worms and that'll make the moles go away, which is true, but not necessarily completely true, because moles don't only eat grub worms. They eat other kinds of insects too, and a lot of insecticides don't necessarily target those. So what we can do is we can take a two-pronged approach. There is a poison for moles called talparid. And I see if I can find it here and pull it up so you can see. Yep, there we go. So it's called talparid. And this is an actual mole poison, right? So this actually targets the moles themselves. And the way you have to apply this is very, very specific. You need to put gloves on, and you need to like make little holes in the tunnels that they bore and drop the baits in. And they're going to eat it. It's going to kill them. But in addition to that, I would also incorporate an insecticide that gets rid of grub worms in your lawn as well. So if you're dealing with grubs, or if there's a chance you might have grubs, eliminating those will also kind of help move towards taking away their food source. So two reasons. So one, I would use the talparid, and I think I've got a link for that. I think I put that down there for you already. If not, I'll post it here again. I would use this product. I would use this, but in addition, I would also, in preparation for the spring, put down an insecticide to knock out grubs. Now, there's a couple of options for that. You can use, if you want a granular, you can use a product from Syngenta called Acceloprin, which is really good as a granular insecticide. And if you are looking for a liquid, one that is very well regarded is one called Talstar. It's Talstar P or Talstar, depending on which way it's done. And I can find links here for these for you really quick. So I'll give you two options. If you want liquid, you can do the Talstar, and if you want, there it is. And if you want a granular, you can use the Acceloprin. I think the Talstar is probably a little bit cheaper than the granular. I believe you're going to save some money if you go that route, but I'll give you both here. So yeah, so for insecticides, you got these two guys. So again, the talparin, the talparid is for killing the moles directly. And then the two that I just linked there are insecticides that kill the things that the moles tend to eat. Most importantly, grub worms. I mean, it's not going to kill everything, but it's going to kill grub worms, which are also bad for your lawn. So that's what I would do if we're trying to get the lawn ready for spring, and you want to have the best possible option. Let's target both the moles, and then let's also target certain parts of the food source that the moles like to eat, which also happen to damage your lawn. Which, because grub worms also damage your lawn really badly too. So I think that's a good method that I would go how to go about handling that. But your lawn is not a lost cause. Definitely try those out and let me know how you get on. Sorry to hear that you're dealing with grub worms. Let's see here. So next question, we have Ned G from Chicago. It's got to be cold up there, I'm sure. It's got to be freezing. You say, his question is, can I put down any amendments during the winter, even when the ground is frozen? Carbon, humic acid, micronutrients. So when you say frozen, if the ground's like hard frozen, I mean, you can, but I mean, absorption is not going to be very good, right? So CarbonPro G, when I talked to Miramichi Green about that product, that is one product they said you can apply it year round. I mean, but if the ground is frozen, meaning that you're not, it's unlikely to be able to, like, the product as it breaks down to be absorbed, you're not going to get a lot of benefit out of it. So I wouldn't want you to put that product down and just have it sit there, or you get like a heavy rain or a heavy snow and it washes out. So it depends. If you're telling me that it's hard frozen, like your ground is like ice, like if you take like a screwdriver and you try and stick it in the ground, like it's not going anywhere, I would wait for a string of warmer weather before I did anything. But if you're saying that there's been snow on the ground and the ground is not completely frozen, in other words, it's, like if you pour water on the ground that it's actually going to be absorbed, then you could do carbon. So the thing with with CarbonPro G, there's three major components to it, right? So there's the biochar, which is basically just charcoal, the microbial package, which is really the secret sauce in my opinion, and there's also a compost. So there's three parts to it. The microbial package, you're not going to really get a whole lot out of right now, because microbes need temperature. They like temperature for them to really become active. But there's no issue with that, because when it gets to become springtime and weather and temps get warmer, soil temps get warmer, typically above 50 degrees or so, they're all going to wake up, and your lawn's going to get a lot of benefit out of it. So the answer to your question, Ned, is really depends on how frozen are we really talking here. Is it like an ice cube? I'd wait for warmer weather. If it's not, CarbonPro G is something you could do. That is something I'm going to be doing to my lawn throughout the winter. But then again, I'm in Georgia, and when we call winter, we may have like a stretch, a few days of a few days a week of freezing temps, but then it warms up. So our winters go into the 20s, but in as high as in the 50s some days. So it just depends on what you're dealing with. So hope that helps answer your question. Great question though. And again, CarbonPro G, I am definitely a believer of it, man. I mean, I was a person that used to think that a lot of the carbon products were snake oil, but having done some real testing of my own with it and the results that I've gotten, I believe there's definitely some merit to those products. So Alan's in tonight. Cedric, let's see. JG, hey, it's Friday. It is Friday. Getting ready for the holidays. How's everybody else doing? How are you guys doing with all your Christmas shopping? Hopefully you guys have got it all done. If you're trying to order anything at this point, you're gonna be paying for overnight shipping, or you have to brave the outside, the scary outside, and go to the mall or something to pick something up. But I'm sure you guys are probably all ahead of the game, probably doing better than me in that space. All right, so Alan has a question here. He says he finally did the last treatment weed of back 40 glyphosate. Now that the Bermuda is dormant, and you went and you spot treated anything green. Next spring, you're going to scarify and do Arden 15. Very cool, man. Yeah, that should work. It depends on where you are, Alan, because like even with my lawn, like I'd be afraid to put glyphosate on my lawn. At least definitely not right now, because there's still parts of it that's green. But if you're sure your Bermuda is completely dormant, like dormant, spot spraying with glyphosate is something you could do. But I mean, I personally don't like putting Roundup or glyphosate on anything that I'm not trying to kill permanently. But if you're dormant, should be good to go. And then again, going to Scarify next year and do Arden 15, that's probably a good plan. The guys at Real Rollers, when I saw their turf setup, they have like a turf park there with 3 different lots. And what they did for their overseeding is they used their Swardsman and put the verticut cartridge in it. So they verticut it both ways to kind of really thin out the turf, thin out the canopy, and give the seeds, like, ensure like better soil seed contact. And that's what I'm going to do next spring. So scarifying is good. That's probably it's like a lighter version of verticutting. But if you can verticut, if you can get your hands on one, that's probably going to be even better. But I mean, it's, it sounds like you're doing the right thing. You're trying to thin out the lawn a little bit, which is going to help with the that germination. So definitely let me know how it goes. You and me, man, we're gonna be Arden 15 buddies next spring. I got to wait till Mayish or so to do mine, but that's definitely the big plan for the lawn next year. So very cool. Let's see who else we got in the chat here. Super TA Moro, one of the most hated people in the Ron Henry live stream, Mr. Winning all the time. Hope all's going well, man. Hope you got the stuff. I sent the for those of you guys that won last week, the test kit and also the stickers. They went out the following day. They went out on Saturday, so you guys should be receiving those if you've not gotten them already. Again, congrats to you guys that won, and that's okay because we're probably not going to do a giveaway tonight, Moro. So I'm not going to have to get hate comments from everybody else. So you're probably safe for tonight, just probably. All right, Jansel, hey, what's up? How's it going? Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for joining the live stream. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Who else we got here? Richard Byers, awesome. Thanks, Richard. Jansel and Richard, either you guys are new or you just been around. You haven't commented before, but thank you guys for joining the live stream. And if you have any questions, definitely leave them down there below. My entire reason for being here is to hang out with you guys and answer your lawn care questions. All right, let's see. So Grace Ortiz says, I did not get a chance to put down a winterizer. Last thing I put down was Pro G the day before Thanksgiving. Okay, I mean, here's the thing, Grace, you don't have to winterize your lawn. You don't. I mean, it's not something that where if you don't do this, you're not going to get a good result in the spring. And again, when I hate the term winterizing because in my mind it's really just a marketing term. Like the one thing I would suggest that you do is do a soil test of your lawn and see primarily where your pH is, because all the other things, your nitrogen, your phosphorus, your potassium, you can jockey those levels. You can move those levels around pretty easily and pretty quickly, but pH tends to take a little bit longer to adjust. So if you're open to it, do a soil test and see where your pH levels are. And if they're way out of whack or if they're trending like in a direction that you don't like for example, my lawn, they were beginning to trend a little lower. So I put some lime down to try and bring that up a little bit. That is something that I would do. I mean, but it's not too late. If you need to get a soil test, you can look right here. This is where I have a link. I get tired of typing out the big old URL to my soil. I just put like a link in here that'll redirect you there. So if you go to there, ron-henry.com/soil test, that'll take you to get one. And then based on that, if in addition to your pH needing to be adjusted, if you decide that you also want to amend the macronutrients, that soil test results will tell you exactly what product to put down. So it's not too late. But yeah, but the fact that you're putting down the carb, just keep doing that. Keep doing that. That's going to help your lawn, especially if you're using the CarbonPro G. That is the one product that I really recommend because I've done testing with it over this season. I've had great results with it. So I'm glad to hear that you're taking your lawn seriously and you're looking to make some benefits with it, right? So that's awesome. All right. Question from Edward Bonet. He says, "Can you apply tenacity and speed zone at the same time? I want to get rid of the weeds that tenacity doesn't take care of in the spring." That's a great question. So here's the thing. The only thing I've ever mixed with speed zone is dismiss. I've never mixed tenacity with it because I have a warm season lawn, like a Bermuda, and tenacity would be very bad for my Bermuda. The question is, I don't know. I wouldn't. There's no reason why I would think that you could not mix the two of them, but I don't want to say for sure, Edward, that you can. I was actually talking to a lawn care professional in this area. We had lunch the other day, and he's like a herbicide specialist. So I can get him to come on the live stream at some point, maybe to answer some of these questions. That would be good. But speed zone, I know you can mix with other herbicides. Like you can mix it with dismiss, and there's no issue there. you could probably also mix it with tenacity. I've just never done that, so I don't want to tell you go do it, and it, they have some weird interaction and it damages your lawn. But Speed Zone does work with other. It does play nice with other herbicides. So if anyone else in the comment that has a cool season lawn that can give Edward some advice, if you've ever done that concoction, let me know, let him know. But I mean, at a minimum, you can definitely just do the tenacity, and because you can get pretty good results with that. Tenacity is actually a really, really good herbicide. So sorry I wasn't able to give you the direct answer, but I'm sure someone in the chat here is going to probably chime in and help out. Let's see. Okay, so we have a next question here from Ryan Falgod. He says, just curious, how much should I expect to pay a company to have a company come out and grade and resurface a 1,500 square foot area in preparation to seed it? That's a great question. I am not sure, sir. It depends on, I'd imagine it depends on how much of a grade we're talking about. Like, are they just going to be moving earth or moving material around, or they're going to have to like scrape off some and get rid of it? It's a really hard question to say. I can't imagine it being that expensive. To give you an example, when I first had my lawn top dressed, and my lawn is right at 11,000 square feet, it was a little over 11,000 square feet. It's in that space. The first time I top dressed my lawn, it cost me $2,300, and that process is them aerating the entire lawn, them fertilizing it, and then putting sand on the entire lawn. So that, in my mind, is a lot more labor intensive than coming out just to grade the lawn. So, and again, I did close to 11,000, 12,000 square feet. So a lot more than 1,500 square feet. So if I had to guess, if I were a betting man, I would say you should probably get that done for less than $500. I would imagine. Again, depending on how much of a grade we're talking about here. If you're dealing with a huge hill where they've got to take a lot of material away, it's probably going to be more expensive. But if you're just talking about evening it out to an extent and moving things around, then I can't imagine it being that expensive. Now, when you say a grade and resurface, I guess you're talking about like a more heavy duty process. You're not talking about top dressing. Because if you're talking about top dressing, again, that $500-$700 range is probably going to be about what you're looking to pay to get that done. I guess it's not that expensive. You could actually do it yourself if it was just top dressing, but a grade is a little bit more intensive. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you because I've never actually had that done. I can only use like other work that I've had done on my lawn as a frame of reference. I would imagine $500 or less is what I would guess. But if anyone else in the chat has done that, feel free to chime in and let Ryan know your experience. It's a good question though, huh? You have to let me know, if you don't mind, let me know like a little bit more about what you're dealing with as far as like the grade. I mean, I don't know if you feel free, comfortable sending me pictures, but if you are, like, this is my email address here, ron@ron-henry.com. Like, send me an email there and with a picture of like what kind of a grade, what kind of an issue you're dealing with in your lawn. Just out of curiosity, be interested in seeing what you got going on. All right. So a question from On the Lawn Training says, fire ants are a major problem for me this past season. Any recommendation? Trying to see what I need to stock up on. And you're in South Carolina. Okay, so for fire ants, you can use the Advion fire ant bait. That's a pretty good product. I really like Advion. The thing with it though is that you have to be careful about it getting wet. So this time of year, it's kind of probably not the actual best time, best product to use, because when it gets wet, you lose a lot of the effectiveness out of it. That Acceloprin is a really good product. The same one I was recommending to Tales from the Crypto earlier. That's a great insecticide, but I know that the one that really targets fire ants, that does really well against fire ants, is one called Advion. Let me see if I have it here. I think I do. Actually, let me just get you. I'll give you a link for it. But yeah, just go to Amazon and look up like Advion fire ant bait. That is something that I've used on my lawn several times and have had awesome results with it. You can also use the product from Orthene. If you just want something that's quick and easy, go to Home Depot and grab that Orthene ant killer, like the little white powder that smells horrible when you crack it open. Like that works really well too. But it depends on what you're dealing with. If you're talking about just spot spraying certain or spot treating certain mounds, that works well. But if you're trying to do more of a broadcast type thing. I like the Advion better. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like so you can pull that up. Advion Fire Ant Bait. It looks like this. Yep, this is it. This is the stuff right here. So it looks like this on the lawn. This is the product that I've used. Again, a little bit pricey. It's like $50, but I mean, this is stuff that I've used and I've had really good success with it. I haven't had any issues with fire ants in my lawn using this product. So if you're looking for something to try, that is what I would go with. Excellent question. All right. Let's see. Lee Farmer, he says he's joining a few minutes late. No problem, Lee. Late is better than not coming at all, so I appreciate you being here. He says, when you discuss top dressing, is the recommended mixture of 70-30 sand to dirt, or is it 70-30 dirt sand? It is the prior, the latter. It's the first one, Lee. It is, you want to use 70% sand and 30% topsoil. That's what you're after. Reason being is that it's a way for you to introduce some organic material into the turf when you're putting sand on. Like sand in of itself, like river sand or masonry sand, doesn't in of itself have very much nutritional value for the soil. And it tends to also increase like temperatures. Like it during the summer months, it gets really hot. So, given the choice, I would do a 70-30 mix. Or if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to do mixed sand with your soil with your top soil with your sand for your top dressing mix, what I would recommend if you have a little bit more money in your budget is I would do CarbonPro G for your organic material. Here's the reason why. Every time I've top dressed, like literally every single time, whether I've had like a service do it or I've done it myself, whenever I use, I put in any organic material, I end up with a slight weed outbreak afterwards. So whenever you're bringing that sand in and the topsoil with it, you are going to be bringing in some weed seeds along with that. So what I found is that 100% river sand does better. In other words, you have less of a problem with that than you do when you have that 70-30 mix. So the way we can still get some organic material while also reducing the chance of introducing a lot of weeds is to aerate. I like to put down a starter fertilizer. Some people say you don't need to, but I like to aerate, put down a starter fertilizer, put down like the organic component. So like CarbonPro G, or there's also a company, Soil 3 that people like. And then I would do 100% river sand on top of that, and top just with 100% river sand. So we've introduced some organic material, and then we're using the river sand primarily for what it's really good for, which is leveling the turf. So that is that'd be my recommendation. But if you're not going to do that, if you are not going to do like the CarbonPro G, 70% sand, 30% of organic material is what you're after. So great question. Hey Bear, howdy. Thanks for coming to chime in, man. I'm glad you took some time out of your evening to come hang out tonight. Cedric, Mad Scientist, this time last year during dormancy, my lawn was filled with weeds. However, since I've been following your guidance and program, my lawn is weed-free and very healthy. Thanks, young man. I appreciate it, sir. I appreciate it. You know, it's lawn care is really not as complicated as people make it out to be. Probably the best thing you can do is just cut your grass a whole lot, get healthy soil. And if you're dealing with like the alpha grass, Bermuda, and you're cutting it at the right height with the right equipment regularly, you know, that does a lot towards reducing weed pressure in your lawn. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're having a lot of success. And the thing is, you guys will notice in a lot of my content, I think I have like 1 or 2 videos on actual herbicides. Like most of what I recommend is just a lot of like the natural practices that will reduce the amount of weeds in your lawn. The only herbicides you guys see me recommend a lot is the one from Spectracide, that granular. I really like that product. It's a really good product. But I'm glad to hear that you're getting really good results, that your lawn is weed free, and just keep it up, man. Just keep working it, and you know it's going to be good in the spring. That's awesome. Jeremy says you just got your blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Awesome. That's awesome, dude. Here's the thing. Jiu-jitsu is hardcore, man. Like in my style of martial arts, like to go from a white belt, someone walking on the floor, to get your first degree black belt, you're looking at 3 to 4 years for first degree. So which really just shows that you're teachable. But jujitsu is like a 10, 12-year process from like most good schools. So yeah, man, getting your blue belt is a big deal. Congratulations on that. Congratulations. Keep training. Don't stop training. Don't stop training. Moro says, "Can you join the Arden 15 Club?" Sure, sure you can, man. I mean, if here's the thing, like overseeding Bermuda is not, again. I hopefully I said this. I think I said it in pretty much every single one of those videos I did on dormancy, that overseeding Bermuda with Bermuda, like there's not a ton of reason to do that unless you are just one, you're either glutton for punishment, or you're just really trying to modify or change some of the characteristics of your lawn. Like Arden 15 is a beautiful grass, as you guys can see from the videos that I produced on dormancy. It does stay green longer than Tifway, so if you want that, you can overseed with it. Realize that you are going to go through a period there where for them to blend, you're going to see some color differences, especially as the lawn is falling off when the lawn is coming out of dormancy in the spring and when it's going into dormancy in the fall. You are going to see some color differences. But outside of that, it's an awesome looking grass. But it really, even Tifway 419 honestly looks really good if you take care of it. In my case, I started overseeding because of so I had some trees that were removed, and then the sod that was put in never blended properly. So I overseeded to try and get the color to be more even. And it's overall, I'm happy with where it's coming along. It's been a multi-year process. And next year I'm going to take it really, really serious and get what I think is going to be a better result. But yes, you can absolutely join the Arden 15 Club. If you're going to do Arden 15, like the one thing I would recommend is in the spring, and it's going to sound, I know this is like sacrilegious, but if it's in the spring, avoid putting down a pre-emergent, because like the way pre-emergents work is they interrupt weed germination, right, or seed germination. So Arden 15 is very expensive. It's like $400+ for 25 pounds of this stuff. So if you're serious about overseeding your lawn in the spring, I would give up putting down pre-emergent and realize that, for that next year, you're going to be dealing with a little bit more weeds than you normally would, but it's going to dramatically improve your chances of getting good germination, which is kind of what you want given how expensive the seed is. So it's like there's no free lunch. And that would be the only tip I would give to you, Moro. Great question, and glad you're doing well and you're considering joining the Arden Club, man. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Let's see. Janelle O'Leary has a question. She says, if I don't spray my weeds, how many weeds can I expect to come up through an established thick Bermuda lawn? My lawn is mainly weed free at this point, 2,000 square feet. That's a great question. So Janelle, I can tell you this. When you say you don't spray, if you one thing I would recommend, even though your lawn is Bermuda and your sounds like you're taking really good care of it and it's nice and dense, is put down a pre-emergent. Like if there's only 2 herbicides you put on your lawn all year, put down a pre-emergent in the spring and one in the fall, and that's going to do a ton for keeping weeds out of your lawn. Coupled with the fact that you're going to be coupled with the fact that you're also going to be mowing your lawn regularly, that you're doing a lot of the right things. Like all of that is going to help you a lot towards not having weeds. So it's a difficult question to answer as far as how many weeds are you going to get, because it's hard to say. Like a good example with my lawn, I don't have any problem. I really don't have problems with weeds. The only issues that I have had with weeds in my lawn have largely been self-induced whenever I top dress it and I had like a spurge outbreak because of the top dressing mix that I brought in. But outside of that, like even when you walk my lawn right now, there's not really any weeds. Even with the lawn going dormant, there's nothing really in it. So like mowing your grass, one thing I will say is you didn't say how tall you're mowing. You said it's a thick lawn, but you said how low you're mowing it. The lower you mow Bermuda, so in other words, when I say low, below an inch, so 1.25 inches and below, like that does wonders for really making it difficult for weeds to compete against the Bermuda. That does a lot for your lawn. And the thing is, unfortunately, doing that's going to require like using a real mower so you don't mess up your lawn, you don't scalp it. So without having all the details, it's hard for me to tell you exactly what you can expect. But I can tell you from my case and my lawn, I really don't have a lot of problems with weeds, but I also cut my grass relatively short and I cut it religiously. I cut it a lot. And I think that has a lot to do with why I don't have, I have a lot less issues with weeds in my lawn and pre-emergent, obviously, right? But hopefully that helps. And again, I would encourage you, if you're going to do anything, do a pre-emergent in the springtime, and that's gonna help you a lot towards keeping weeds out. Great question. Wind Cherry, you just blew in. Let's talk grass. We're already talking grass, man. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. And Tales from the Crypto, you are very welcome. Let me know how it works out. And getting rid of the moles is a big thing, because the thing is, they are kind of unsightly. They make those little tunnels in your lawn looks kind of ugly. So yeah, I get why you really want to get rid of them. He says, I've been in your live before. I'm the UPS man from Centennial Drive here in Gainesville. Oh, dude, cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I've actually been to the Centennial, that hub, to pick up stuff before. So cool. Very cool, man. Thanks for chiming in and asking questions. Very cool. And the UPS people, guys, be nice to your friendly UPS man, because they are like the chariot of Santa Claus this time of year. So be nice to them. Those guys are out working. Those guys and girls are out working super hard. So be nice whenever they come by. And you're very welcome. I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day to hang out and chat with me in the live stream. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's pretty awesome. Let's see. Grace says, yeah, she's waiting for your kit to come in. Your pH was low. You put lime down in October and you want to see how much it went up. Cool. Yeah, and again, it takes a while for pH to move. Depending on the kind of lime you put down, that can also make a difference too. But the thing is, knowledge is power, right? So soil testing is going to give you the data to be able to make better decisions. So the one thing is that by you testing you put lime down in October, by you doing your soil test once it comes in, you'll be able to see if you need to add more, or if you're good to go until springtime. So good stuff. Very good stuff. Hey, Timothy, thanks for chiming in, man. Appreciate you coming to hang out in the live stream. Let's see. What do we have here? Eric Wingren, he says, do you know if adding CarbonPro G, which contains compost, is equivalent to adding topsoil to the lawn? I've been trying to amend my sandy soil down here in Florida. Yeah. It depends on what kind of topsoil you're dealing with. I mean, what I would say is it is the equivalent of adding a rich organic material to your lawn. That's what I would say, because not all topsoil is created equal. So some topsoil has lots of bark and twigs and frankly a lot of garbage in it. But if you're dealing with a very purified, very pure topsoil that has that's rich, then yeah, I mean it's going to be equivalent. It's going to be comparable anyway. But I would say that, again, the magic of CarbonPro G is not only the compost. As a matter of fact, that's probably the least cool part about it. It's the biochar, so it's the ability of it to leach onto the nutrients that you put down in the soil, and also what it does with water retention. Again, guys, I'm not a scientist. I don't understand exactly how it works, but there's a video that I did where I did a test on some of the dry spots, some of the hot spots of my lawn with CarbonPro G. And it's parts of my lawn that no matter what I do, when summer months hit, they tend to dry out a little bit. I said, well, this stuff's supposed to increase water retention, supposed to make the lawn greener. I went really heavy in those areas. If you guys watch my videos, if you're looking at the back lawn, it's the right side of my lawn. Like that area to the right of the rocks, that whole band there tends to dry out. So I went really heavy on CarbonPro G, like a little bit over the heavy bag rate, just to see what kind of difference it would make. And I applied the regular rate the rest of the lawn. And in the results video, which I think I can see if I can dig it up here and send it to show you guys, like the area where I had that stuff down, it became a really bright and emerald green, like a beautiful green, and it stayed that way until into dormancy. So the lawn started going into dormancy. So the ability for the for the soil to hold on to moisture, which is really the issue with that part of my lawn, definitely is enhanced with CarbonPro G. I can't say it's just true for all carbon products, but that one definitely works. So consider that if instead of just putting down topsoil, Eric, if you're interested, because again, I think you can find it for it's not terribly expensive, and it's like around $25 to $30 a bag at your local Site One. So yeah, just something to consider. Let's see. Actually, I'll send you guys. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is the video right here. I was digging it up. See, I can multitask. I can do both. All right. Yeah. So this video here, which you guys are going to see in the chat now, CarbonPro G results video. All right, so this is that shows the testing that I did with that product, and you guys look at it and see for yourself. Like literally, I showed you like the before, and I showed you the after, and the only thing different is that product. Watering is exactly the same. Nothing else has changed, and you guys look at it and you guys decide. And just because the question is going to come up, no, I am not affiliated with Site One, and no, I don't get any money if you guys buy CarbonPro G. I just think it's an awesome product and that you should use it in your lawns. So there, said it. Okay, let's see what else. Our next question is A Bear. He says, Ron had a frost down here finally in southern Louisiana. Warms back up and parts of the lawn are dormant. I never put down a winterizer and my nitrogen is low from the test. Can I still put it down now or is it too late? I put down nitrogen. I put down what's considered to be a winterizer a week and a half ago. Whenever I put the video out, week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So no, it's not too late. But again, the biggest thing I would say, if you have your soil test says your nitrogen is low, you can wait till spring if you want to do it then too. But it's not going to hurt things. I have done both, A Bear. I've done it where I have done nothing to my lawn. So I put down, the last time I put any kind of fertilizer, any kind of nitrogen on my lawn was like in October. I mean, not this year, obviously, but there's been years in past where I stopped putting stuff down in October, didn't do anything until the spring. The lawn greened up just fine. And there's been years where I have put down a product in the winter and it's done well. The one thing I would say is that if you don't put down a winterizer, you don't put down any kind of product now to amend the nitrogen content in your soil, in the spring, so when we get to say late February, make sure you get a soil test done. And at that point, you want to get serious about fixing those levels. Because the thing with the macronutrients, with the nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, it doesn't take very long for those to come up. So it's up to you. I mean, I would do it. I mean, you're not going to hurt anything by doing it. It's not going to damage the grass or damage the turf or anything like that. I've done it both ways, and I've gotten good results both ways. So. Just decide and let me know which one you decide to go with. You have a soil test done, so you have the data. So based on that, like it would, in other words, it would bother me too much to know that my levels were way off, and just leaving it that way until spring. But I'm like compulsive that way. There's no way I could do it, but it's up to you. Either way, you're going to be just fine. All right. So Roosevelt Jefferson says, good evening, Ron. Happy to join. Good evening, Roosevelt. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming and hanging out in the live stream a little bit. And guys, while we're also working through the questions, one thing you guys will notice is that the link here has changed. It used to be Ron-Henry /golf course lawn. Now it's just golfcourselawn.com. What that is I've gotten a lot of emails, or enough emails where I'm going to actually give it a shot. I've gotten several emails from viewers where you guys have been asking for something more formalized, saying, hey, if you put together like a lawn calendar or something like that, or like a training course showing like what you do without all the fluff, would be something they'd be interested in. So we're going to find out. What that URL does is it's going to take you to a page that has like a sign up. So all it is if you're interested in whenever I do finish filming this course that I'm working on and launching it, if you want to be notified when that comes out, it's not a commitment to buy anything at all. It's just literally saying, hey, if you want to know whenever the course is ready, and when I'm putting out little parts, because what I'm probably going to do is as I start filming it, and I've got some parts put together, I'm going to probably distribute it to you guys, that you guys take a look at it, to the people that are on that list anyway, and get some feedback as far as if you think it's good, if you think it's not good, you think it's a waste of time. And based on that, I'll make adjustments. So if you're interested in that, go here, golfcourselawn.com, and throw your email address in, say, yeah, notify me, and I will, I'll let you guys know as it begins to develop. So very cool. Back to the serious stuff now. We're back to answering the questions, right? Let's see. So Robert Riley. Okay, this would be a good one. He says he scorched his Bermuda about a month ago. I don't like how this comment's starting out. I mean, scorching Bermuda. I don't like what I'm hearing here. He says a month ago, before it went dormant, by applying iron. I thought I was well under the recommended rate, but I guess not. Will it bounce back? It looks bad since going dormant. It'll come back. I mean, how much iron did you apply, Robert? And when you say scorch, what are we talking about here? Because typically, I mean, I've done some testing with iron to see like how far can you go before causing problems. I've gone as far as putting down like 8.5% iron at like in one go. And in my case, what's happened when I've gone really, really heavy with iron is the lawn gets super green, but then it also starts to turn like purplish and almost like a dark gray color. And that tends to be like that for a week and a half, and then it goes away. But then again, I did this during spring to early summer when the grass was actively growing and could recover from that kind of thing. And there were no long-term effects from it. So I guess the thing I would tell you, the one thing you have going for you, Robert, is you have Bermuda. If you had something like Zoysia or one of the more sensitive grasses, it could have done some serious damage, and you may have to be resod or whatever. But Bermuda is incredibly difficult to kill. Even when you want to kill it, you can't kill it. So I think you're going to be just fine. I think when spring rolls around, you're gonna bounce back. If you're curious to know what you did to your iron levels, get a soil test done. Just to be able to know, as far as next year, if you just avoid iron supplements in your lawn at all, if you need to get a soil test, check out this link here, ron-henry.com/soil test. Pick one up. But I mean, let's just say this: I can guarantee your lawn is going to be fine. It's going to bounce back probably for the first part of the season next year. In the spring, we're probably going to want to avoid using fertilizers or any micronutrients that have any significant or material amount of iron. That's probably what I would tell you. But you're gonna be fine. It's just that you're going into dormancy. The grass is slowing down, and it just didn't recover before it went to sleep. But you're gonna be okay. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Interested in wondering how much iron you put down though, man, because that's tough to do. But when you say scorch, I have to find out what you mean by scorching. All right, so let's see. Sean, what's going on, man? Says you just joined. Thanks for joining in, Sean. And for anyone else that's just joining, that's just coming into the live stream, be sure to hit that like button on your way in. I mean, I'm sure you guys are sitting down, we're having a good time. Hit the like button. It sends me some good vibes. It costs you nothing, and it lets YouTube know that a bunch of lawn crazies are hanging out here talking about lawn care stuff. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys wouldn't mind. So we have Edward Bonet. He's chiming in. He says, I've convinced you to use Caravan G next spring. If I can't find it, what can I use? If I can't find it, what can I use with Scott's disease X for my pesticide? Okay, so okay. Oh, you did Caravan G. If you can't find it, you can order it online, Edward. So if you're looking for Caravan G, you can order it from Do My Own. Let me see if I can find a link here for you. Caravan. Yeah, you can use either one of these links. So Amazon tends to have it too, but it tends to be pricier. Like Amazon's price tends to fluctuate quite a bit. So I would go to Do My Own first for Caravan G, and they will do free shipping if you decide to buy it. I think I'm almost positive they ship it for free. So yeah, but I mean, Caravan G is an excellent product. It's a combination insecticide and fungicide, which is why I like it, because it keeps a lot of your more common lawn funguses away, and it also takes care of grub worms. I in many ways attribute the fact that I haven't had issues in my lawn with grub worms to that product. There was a time where I tried this product called Milky Spore, and it worked okay. And you have to use that one when soil temps are warmer for the product to work properly. But that Caravan G, ever since I went to that, I haven't had any issues. It's been several years, and I had no issues with grub worms. So it's a really good product. I really believe in it. Not cheap, but and anything good typically isn't cheap. So there you go. Let's see. And you said, at least, and Robert Riley said, at least it's the backyard. That's true. At least no one else has seen it, right? But you still have to see it, so it's gonna bug you. Let's see. And then Tales in the Crypt is talking about best of the best with heavy equipment grading area. He lives in Middle Tennessee. Oh, so as far as getting your lawn, the person that had the question about the lawn leveling, reshaping. But yeah. All right, Pez Guy says, so based on your recommendation, after seeing my soil test, I put down Scott's starter fertilizer, lime, and 0060 in early October. Okay, so you're hitting the potassium train pretty hard. Okay. Also put down liquid aeration. I think it greened up already. Possible. It depends. Where are you in the country? You said I think it greened up already. I mean, it is possible. It certainly is possible, Pez Guy. I mean, especially if your grass is one that is not prone to go dormant this time of year, it certainly can. I mean, it sounds like you did a lot of things to it. You put down between the starter fert and the potassium. So I think you had all your macro levels were low. Between just those two things, yeah, I'm not surprised your lawn is greener. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. Especially if your grass type of location of where you are is one that is not prone to go dormant. You said it's snow covered in your next comment, so I guess you're up north somewhere. So yeah, so you're dealing with a cool season grass. I'm not surprised that your lawn greened up from doing that. So no, it's not outside the realm of possibility. It's actually kind of what I'd expect. So good to go. Good. All right, so Helmet Ruckus, he says, actually, Helmet, before I get to your question here, let me thank Alan here for the super chat. So Alan, thank you so much for the super chat, sir.
Super chat received.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for the generosity. I appreciate you guys for your support and supporting the channel. Thank you so much, sir. You really didn't have to. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so Helmet, back to your question. You said you're planning on leveling your zoysia in the spring. Is it okay to cover some areas completely with sand and hoping my zoysia would grow through it? I mean, when you say cover completely, depends. When you're talking about like turning it like completely submerging the grass, I wouldn't do that. With Bermuda, you might be able to get away with it, but zoysia is a slower, or most of them anyway, are slower growing grasses. So I wouldn't want to fully cover the leaf and take a chance that you're gonna kill some of it because it's not gonna be able to get sunlight. What I would more likely do is to do just multiple top dressings. So what you could do is you could do a top dressing in, say, you said in the spring. So let's say you did your top dressing, your first one in like mid-May. So let's say your same area as me in Georgia, right? So your temps are around my temps. And say like mid-May, Zoe's just living large, its life is good, grass is growing, everything is happy. You could do a top dress in mid-May, and then 6 weeks later, like a light top dress so that the grass could go through it. And then 6 weeks later, say end of June, early July, 6 to 8 weeks later, you could do another top dress to fill in those areas that you didn't get the first time. So versus going all in one, trying getting all one done in one big heavy application, I wouldn't go that route. I would do multiple, because even with top dressing, even if you went out and you just did one big heavy top dress, it's still not going to be perfectly smooth like what you're thinking. It takes a couple of times because remember, the area that you put a thin layer, it's not going to settle as much as an area where you put a lot of sand. Like that area, as the sand kind of works its way in, it settles down. That area is going to be going to settle a little bit more than the areas where you do the lighter top dressing. So it just takes time. It takes multiple top dressings. Like when you guys look at my videos, what you are seeing are the results of several seasons, like 3 full top dressings, what you're seeing there. So I just realized that it's an ongoing thing. Like golf courses top dress all the time, like top dress a couple times per season, because it's just something that you do. It takes a while to get the lawn nice, and then it's as you use the lawn and it gets rained on, there's like water running through it, it's going to wear, right? And those areas are going to become slowly uneven again. You have to top dress it again. I mean, granted, each time you do it, it takes less and less material, but instead of going super heavy, I would go lighter, especially with zoysia, because I wouldn't want you to go super heavy and damage your lawn and then not have the stuff grow through and you'd be upset with the results you get. So hopefully that helps. All right, let's see, what do we have next? Great question though. Great question. So let's see. Wind Chariot says, hey Ron, when you overseed your existing lawn, do you increase your watering schedule to keep the seed wet? And if so, had you had issues with fungus? Yes, the first part of the question, and no. So yes, whenever I do put seed down, the biggest thing that causes seed to not grow, believe it or not, is lack of water. It's like you can put down a starter fert, you can put down like a light top dressing or like some organic material to kind of help the process along, kind of cover the seed a little bit to get ensure good contact. But the reason why most people don't get good germination is that they don't keep the soil moist. So what I did earlier this year, is I would water the lawn a couple times, but very light. So like in the morning, I would do a light watering, and in the evening, I would do a light watering. So I wasn't running a full cycle, but I was just making sure that the lawn just never dried out for a period of about 3 weeks. Because Arden 15, compared to its predecessor, Princess 77, it germinates a lot faster. That's one of the best things about Arden 15. It just germinates, like the germination rate and the time it takes to germinate and the amount that comes through is better than what you get with Princess 77. So I do water, and if you are going to overseed, I would make sure you keep the ground moist, but don't run a full cycle twice a day. So just depending on when you go out and you look at your lawn, if you're looking at the soil and it's dried out, it's time to put some water on it. And you're going to have to do this for you know, I'd say at least 3 weeks. So it's going to be kind of expensive from a watering perspective, but that's what you have to do to get good results. Again, remember, most seeding projects do not work out because most people just don't water. They don't keep the seed and the ground moist enough for the seeds to have a good chance to come through. And if you take that approach where you're doing like light watering, you shouldn't deal with an issue with lawn fungus. In addition to making sure that you keep enough nitrogen in your lawn, because some of the funguses that develop in people's lawn are a result of like they can't thrive in higher nitrogen environments. So whereas Bermuda like loves nitrogen, it's like, feed me, give me nitrogen, wants several pounds of nitrogen per month to be happy. Like a lot of lawn funguses don't like that. It burns them, it kills them, like that. And it just having, in other words, just having soil that is optimal for Bermuda creates a scenario that is suboptimal for a lot of the lawn funguses that you might have to deal with. And then you couple that with just light watering, and you're going to be just fine. So, so hopefully that answers your questions. I know it was a little bit long-winded, but it's not as simple as just saying yes and no. But there's other factors that go into why I've not had issues with it. But great question, and let me know if you decide to overseed how your overseeding project goes. Should be pretty cool. Hey, Alan, what's up going on, man? Again, thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate it. And Hilldale says you got a Zoysia lawn. Okay. So let's see. Next question we have here is from Andrew Chase. I have a Zoysia lawn in Hawaii. Gotta be awesome weather. I'm jealous. In March, I'm planning to scalp to 3/8 of an inch, aerate, and top dress with sand. I have two questions for you. One, is it okay to aerate right before top dressing? And the second question, is it okay to apply pre-emergent in January or February, or should I wait until the lawn recovers? Excellent question. Two awesome questions. So let's take your first question first. So the first question, is it okay to aerate right before top dressing? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I recommend it. Like aerating is something you should do as part of your top dressing. Two reasons. One, remember, we're introducing like a sand soil mix to your existing lawn. So by punching all these cores or tines in the lawn, you're opening up the turf. Whenever you put that top dressing material down now it's not just sitting on top of the soil. It's kind of integrating into your existing soil, which is a benefit. That's a good thing. My process, what I do is for top dressing, and if you've not seen it, I'll have to link the video that we did on Alex's lawn, is I aerate, I put down a starter fertilizer, and then I top dress, like in that sequence. So that is what I would do. It's an absolutely the right thing to do. As a matter of fact, it's something you should do. I would not just top dress your entire lawn without aerating it. It's just not going to work out as well. Your second question is, is it okay to apply pre-emergent in January or February? Should you skip it? No, absolutely apply the pre-emergent. Like the two are not, the two will not hurt each other. Now, if you're planning on overseeding Zoysia, I don't even know if that's a thing, but if you're planning on putting any kind of seed down, then yes, I would not do pre-emergent, but you're not doing that. All you're doing is top dressing your lawn. So pre-emergent and top dressing, the two do not hurt each other. Like just still do it. There is some thought that if you put down pre-emergent and then you go and you core aerate your lawn, that you get less benefit out of it because you're piercing that barrier. But I mean, honestly, you're still going to get, just having it that barrier, having that chemical in the soil, is still going to help. So I would still absolutely put down pre-emergent, and then top dress your lawn. And also, depending on what you're doing, if you are going to, if you're top dressing with any kind of organic materials, so let's say you're using like a sand soil mix, you might want to consider also doing a pre-emergent application a week or two after top dressing to suppress the chances of you getting weeds or any of the weed seeds that are in that mix that you're putting into your Zoysia, to prevent that from coming in. So that's something you might want to consider too. Not strictly necessary, but just realize that when you top dress, Andrew, you are more than likely going to see some more weeds in your lawn, because just the material you bring in is going to have some nasty stuff with it, unfortunately. But that's just all par for the course. Your lawn's going to recover, the weeds will go away. And if you want to suppress the ability for the weeds to really come through, then you can just simply put down a pre-emergent, post top dressing, and that will help with that. Not strictly necessary, but something else you can do as well if you're trying to be super hardcore. Okay, let's see. Moro Marcelo says, Ron, your online program still includes Milo as your choice organic fur. Do you still plan on replacing it next year? I'm probably going to still put down Malorganite. I still got 8 or 9 bags of it in my garage, so I'm still gonna use it. I mean, Malorganite is a great fertilizer. I mean, it's not the only problem with Milo is that it's gotten to be expensive. It's gotten to be kind of cost prohibitive to an extent. Whenever I put down, probably as part of the time, whenever I seed my lawn, I'll probably save the Milo for that. I'll probably put down the Milo at the same time whenever I put the seed down to kind of give it. It's not really technically a starter fertilizer, but just to kind of give it, some, again, a rich organic fertilizer that's gonna help feed the soil, feed the seeds, give them a little bit of nitrogen to kind of to wake up and have plenty of food to do well. But yeah, it's still a great product. I still like Malorganite because it's one that it's really, really hard to mess up with. I still recommend it to people. The reason why I leave it on my online chart on Moro is that, believe it or not, I know you're not going to believe this, but not everybody watches all my YouTube content and not everybody watches like the live stream. So the thing is, a lot of what's on my blog is written for people that literally go into Google and type golf course lawn or how do I get a golf course lawn? And then my page will come up, and I have to assume that I have to put instructions on there that are very simple so that someone that is not doing something just bit me. That's why. Sorry about that. That someone that is not doing everything that I'm doing can still follow and still get pretty good results. So that's the theory behind why it's still there. And yes, I'm gonna still use it next year. I'm still gonna use it. So I know it's a long-winded question, but that's why it's still on my blog, and I'm still going to use it in the in my lawn care program next year, probably just as part of my overseeding. All right, LG says, I almost shot the FedEx driver this morning after I watched him walk through my lawn, which was frosted over at the time. Yeah, it's funny. Now, I mean, granted, here's the thing, LG, you got to give your FedEx driver a little bit of grace this time of year, because think about it. These guys and girls are delivering tons of packages, and they're under a lot of pressure. So they're probably trying to get the job done as quickly as possible. But I totally get it. Like when I see them walk across my lawn, I do kind of give them a little bit of the side eye, like, man, look, you can tell I really like my lawn. How are you going to, the sidewalk is not that far. Why you just don't walk around? But it's this time of year, they're super busy, but I get it. I definitely twinge a little bit when I see that happen, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? They are bringing you. They are Santa's couriers. They're bringing you your good stuff, so you can't be too mean to them. Okay, let's see what we got down here. I have a super chat from Edward Bonet. Thank you so much, Edward.
Super chat received.
I really, really appreciate it, sir. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate your generosity. Okay, so Edward Bonet asked a question. I want to know what is your favorite herbicide? I am not actually a huge fan of herbicides, believe it or not. My favorite herbicide, though, I think most of you guys are probably gonna know. A lot of you guys are gonna probably know what I'm gonna say. It is the Spectracide. It's the weed stop from Spectracide. It's a very basic fertilizer. Actually, I'll bring it up here. I'll show you guys which one it is. I think I've got it up here somewhere. Yeah, this guy. This is my go-to and what I typically recommend to people as far as a herbicide that also has pre-emergent in it that will, so it's overall just a really good combination product, covers 3,000 square feet, and in most cases is not going to damage your lawn as long as you use it at the correct rate. It's got a couple of different active ingredients in it. This particular herbicide will kill around 200 weeds. If you don't need pre-emergent, they make this one, which is their spray you stick on the end of your garden hose, and this one does like 400 different weeds. So as far as post-emergence, this one is probably better. As far as a pre and post-emergent, again, I'm not talking about like the prodiamine or your spectacle flow. I'm not talking about the more hardcore, the more professional grade products. So something that a typical homeowner can use that's not trying to go too crazy on their lawn and still get good results with it. This product is one that I really like a lot. I've had really good results with it. I've used it on Alex's lawn. We worked on his lawn this year. We did the renovation, and it worked out really well. I know it's not super exotic, but that's a great product that I've had good results with. The only trick to using the one that you saw in the bag, the one that's granular, is that you must make sure that the turf is wet when you apply it, because it needs to stick to the weeds. Like this stuff is almost like it's almost like a brownish kind of powder. So it needs to stick to the leaves of the weeds you're trying to treat for it to be more effective. So ideally, you'd wait for it to be due in the morning, like wait till early in the morning, or right after you irrigate. You'd apply this and then keep pets and kids and everyone off the lawn for 24 hours, really until the stuff dries is what you need to wait for. But usually 24 hours is just a safe bet when it comes to herbicides. But yeah, to answer your question, Edward, that is the product that I like. If you're interested in getting it, you can find it at your local Home Depot. I mean, they pretty much always have it in stock. Or you can also find it on Amazon. But if you feel like you want to get it, you want to order it, and you feel like supporting the channel, there are some links right there to where you can pick up both the pre-emergent, one with pre-emergent, and the one that has no pre-emergent in it. But that is my go-to herbicide because, again, it's easy enough. It doesn't require a backpack sprayer. It doesn't require mixing. It's a really good one that is hard to mess up with, which is half the battle when you're trying to help someone and you're not actually there to supervise them and see what they're doing in their lawn. So hope that helps. Alan, and there you go. So Alan's about to ask the same question. And he said, see, Alan's watching the live stream. He says, I suspect he will say Spectricide. Trouble is I have 19,000 square feet and one bag covers 3,000 square feet. But the thing is, Alan, so yeah, so in your case, it depends on what you're trying to deal with. When you say herbicide, it's depending. Are you talking about a pre-emergent or a post-emergent? And if it's a when you say, so let's say you say post-emergent, you're trying to deal with weeds that are already emerged or already growing. The answer is it depends, right? It depends on what kind of weeds you're dealing with, like which product. So once you start dealing with liquids, the answer becomes a lot more complicated to ensure you're using the right product. But the thing with this, Alan, is that the Spectricide is not that expensive. I want to say you can get it for $12 thereabouts at Home Depot. So if we take, let's say, you said you've got 19,000 square feet. So let's just say 6 bags, let's say 7 bags, just to be safe, right? Times 12. So yeah, you're looking at 85. You're still looking at $100 to apply this, which is, again, is kind of expensive. Like that's one thing with a liquid is you'll get a little bit more mileage typically for your money out of a bottle of liquid herbicide. But as far as a product that's going to work really well, it's going to give you that's going to take care of weeds that are the most common weeds that are already emerged, and is also going to give you some protection going forward with that pre-emergent that's in there, the dithapir that's in there. It's a great product. So that is what I would go with again. But again, it also depends, guys, when it comes to herbicides, it depends on what the weed you're dealing with so much. Because if you're dealing with something like Dallas grass or any of the really nasty ones that just are incredibly difficult to kill, that's when you got to break out the big guns. You got to go with like something like that Tribute Total from Bayer, or there are some other options as well too. So it depends on what kind of weeds you're dealing with. But for most typical broadleaf weeds that are in most homeowners' lawns, the Weed Stop from Spectricide works pretty well. Cheryl, what's up? Hey, Cheryl, thanks for chiming in. Hope everything's going well. Hopefully, Cheryl, we are not spraying any more. What are we dealing with on your lawn? You are dealing with the nutsedge. We're doing a stack of the sedge hammer and the image. So at this point, I think we sprayed, if I remember correctly, I think on the live stream you said last week you were applying some. So I think we're going to pump the brakes on applying any more of that now. But let me know as I keep scrolling down how your lawn's doing. Hopefully the nutsedge is going away. I learned something new again. I had lunch with a great guy that owns, I think it's Vista Lawn Care or something like that. I forgot the name of his company, but he knows he's worked in the industry for like 20 years. So we were having lunch. He was talking to me about when it comes to nutsedge, that like if you're dealing with purple nutsedge, which is one of the more harder ones to kill, like that's when you have to tend to use something a little bit stronger. But I'm thinking that combination, that stack you're using, Cheryl, of the sedge hammer and the image should do the trick. If it's not, let me know and we can figure something else out. But I have someone now that I can reach out to for some of the more hardcore questions about this kind of stuff, because again, he's, this is what he does. So pretty cool. All right. JG asked the question and says, hey, since you live in Georgia, do you have irrigation? Yes, I do. I do have irrigation. I do have irrigation. I actually have a video about my irrigation. If you're interested in it, I'll, not that you want to watch, but I'll post it in chat here. because I actually got a question about like how I irrigate my lawn, how many zones do I have? So one time I took the time to create a video on that very subject, JG, and irrigation video is right there. Now you guys can see it. But yeah, I do have irrigation, and I find it to be helpful because during summer months, man, like I've got again almost 12,000 square feet. Having to drag a hose around would be not fun. That would be not fun, and it's just not going to do as good a job of getting even coverage. And then for a lot of the things I like to do to my lawn is like as far as top dressing and like overseeding, like having irrigation is so convenient as far as being able to just take care of the soil and make sure you have enough water to keep the Bermuda and whatever else you got going on healthy. So yeah, absolutely have it. Alex, we did his lawn this year. He actually waited to top dress until he put irrigation in. So his lawn didn't have irrigation in his lawn, and he did that prior to top dressing. So I'm a huge fan of irrigation, especially if you're going to top dress, because you don't want to go through all that trouble of getting your lawn all beautiful and then have to go dig it up again to put irrigation in. So if you're considering it, it's totally worth it. And if you're in the Northeast Georgia area, drop me an email because I know a guy that does really good work. The guy that did Alex's lawn, drop me an email here. And I'll tell you, I think his name, it's Rainwater Sprinklers, I think is the name of the company. They really fair prices, really, really good work, and they work really fast. So, if you need anything, just ask, drop me an email and I'll let you know. But yes, I do have irrigation. And he says, if I have irrigation, how often do I calibrate it? How do I calibrate it? Not very often. So all my zones are set up to where I get about an inch of water down. Or I should say that's not true. In the back lawn, I get an inch of water down. On the front lawn, I can't put down that much water at one time because it just runs off. But the back lawn, because it's fairly flat, I can get a lot of water on it. I can really soak it. And my zones in the back lawn are set up for that, set up to be able to do that. So the cycles that I have that you'll see in that video will let you know that is a sequence that I use on the different zones, and that the combination makes sure that my lawn has enough water throughout the summer months. So I haven't calibrated since I've got everything adjusted and figured out. Haven't really had a need to, but yeah, it's a good point. It's something to cover. It's probably something that I will put in this course that I'm putting together on irrigation systems. That at least initially at some point you should know how much water your system puts down, so you know how long to run it for. But yeah, great question, JG. Great question. All right. So question from Jay Pompano. He says, any chance you can expand into cool season care or recommend a channel for a person that does? I find there aren't many popular cool season experts that present like you do. As far as cool season, there's Ryan Noor has a pretty good channel on cool season. I don't know a lot of what he goes into. I'm not sure if he does I don't know if he does a live stream or like how he presents stuff, but a lot of his content seems to be pretty good. And he's a cool season guy. But the thing is, a lot of it, things, Jay, to keep in mind, outside of herbicides that you can use on your lawn, and outside of fertilization rates, because like how much nitrogen Bermuda needs is different to how much nitrogen a fescue or a ryegrass needs. Outside of those things, the thing that makes a lawn look good is the same for warm season and cool season. The two most important things. Now, here's the secret sauce. Now, I mean, if I tell you this, you don't need to go through the course, because I'm giving you the secret right here. The two things you need to get right to have an awesome lawn. Really simple. One, make sure you have good soil, and the way you do that is you get a soil test done. Make sure your pH is where it needs to be, your macronutrient levels are where they need to be. So make sure that's done. So get a soil test and make sure the soil itself is good for growing a plant. And the second thing is the thing that people that tend to do the least amount of, and that's mowing. Like literally the more often you mow your lawn, the better it's going to look. Like if you mow your lawn once every 2 weeks, it's going to be good enough to where you don't get nasty letters from the house association. If you mow it once a week, it's going to look better than twice a week. If you mow it twice a week, it's going to look better than if you only mow it once a week. And if you mow it like how I do during the summer months, every other day, every 2 to 3 days, it's going to look incredible. So you think about it, the best looking parts of a golf course are the greens typically, right? Or most golf courses anyway. And they mow those every day. Like most greens get mowed every single day because of the height of cut that they maintain those at, they have to be cut frequently. So even though I don't, a lot of what you see in my content is based on warm season grass because that's what I've got. I've got Bermuda. Like most of it, as far as the carbon supplements, like the CarbonPro G, the thing that I really recommend, you can use that on a cool season grass. As far as your mowing frequency, those kinds of things, that like mowing your grass, I can't stress enough how much having an awesome lawn is attributed to time out there with a mower. So make sure you have a good mower. Make sure it's the right mower for your grass type, that the blade is sharp, and then just use it a lot. And there you have it. That's all you need to really know to have an amazing lawn. Get good soil, and the way you know if you have good soil is soil test it and put the stuff in the soil the soil needs, and then just cut your grass a ton, and it's going to do really well. As far as herbicides, herbicides go, there are differences in that space. Like for a cool season guy, like using something like Tenacity, like that's something that you guys can use in your cool season lawns. That's a very well regarded herbicide. It's a selective, both pre and post emergent that works really well. But outside of that, there's there's not. I mean, there are differences, but there's not a ton of differences. The biggest thing is that if you're dealing with a cool season grass and you're mowing like really tall, like say you're mowing a tall fescue at 3 inches, 4 inches, whatever it is, get a quality rotary mower. Put sharp blades on it, and you're gonna get really good results. If you have Bermuda lawn or a Zoysia lawn, like the reason why most people's Zoysia lawns and Bermuda lawns don't look good is because they're cutting with the wrong piece of equipment. Like you can cut the grass with a rotary mower, but it's never going to look as good as it could look until you cut it with a real mower, because Bermuda and Zoysia likes to be cut at 1.5 inches or lower. And unless your lawn is pool table flat, it's just really hard to do that well with a rotary mower. So using the right equipment is a huge part of it. But I mean, I know it's a long-winded answer to your question, but I guess what I'm trying to say is check out Ryan North's channel. He's got a lot of great content, but the differences between cool season and warm seasons, like your grass and my grass, like the stuff that's going to make the difference between your lawn looking really awesome is the same. Good soil and a lot of mowing. And then as far as herbicides, depending on what you're dealing with, like Tenacity is an awesome one that you could probably be using, but outside of that, just get good soil and cut the grass a whole lot. If I can help with anything, definitely let me know. Even though, again, I'm not a cool season guy, drop me an email if I can help with anything. ron@ron-henry.com. If I can't answer it, I'll work and try and get an answer for you. But I appreciate you coming in and joining the content anyway, and hang out in the live stream. So I really appreciate that. Let's see. Chris Balducci. Yeah, he says, hey, Ron. Hey, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well, sir. I am doing awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. I will forgive you for being late. I'll forgive you for being late if and only if you smash the like button. I don't know if you've done it yet, Chris. I know you're not one of the ones that typically doesn't hit the like button coming in. You typically do a good job, but if you happen to forget tonight, hit that like button. That, and then all sins will be forgiven. All right, let's see. What else we have here? So Robert Riley says, actually, do I have a super chat here? Let me get down here and see if I've got any more that I've missed. I do have one. So from Helmet Ruckus, he gave me a super chat here.
Super chat received.
Thank you so much, Helmet. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support, sir. I truly appreciate that. All right. So Robert Riley says, I believe it was under a pint. Oh, this is the iron that you burned your lawn with. You said you believe it was under 1 pint per thousand. 1 pint. Whoa, no, that can't be right. You said under a pint per thousand. I did mix it with a liquid. That doesn't sound, I mean, I don't know what kind of iron you're putting down. A pint of, that sounds like a lot. A pint is, yeah, that to me, that sounds like a lot of, it sounds heavy. If you don't mind, Robert, let me know. Also, if you're still in the chat and live stream, let me know which iron product you used, because it'd be interesting to find out what that is, because that just seems really heavy, man. As far as whatever you're putting down here, he says pre-emergent. Okay, I guess I'm confused. Maybe I'm confusing you with the person that had the issue with the iron. With the iron that you put down. But let me know, give me the name of the product that you use, put that in the chat, and we can see if we can get to the bottom of what happened. But a 1 pint per thousand square, if it sounds like a lot. That sounds super heavy. I can't think of anything that needs that kind of rate. That seems like a lot. Okay. So next up we have P asks a question, says, I picked up several bags of Scott's Turf Builder 3400. Man, you're slamming it with the nitrogen. It says with every drop, and makes grass lead less water. Okay, so I think you're talking about the one that has it has like the turf builder. I guess it has is that the blue coated stuff that has like that holds on to moisture. It says because it was cheap, it was dirt cheap at Home Depot. Have you used it? Any thoughts about it? I've not used that particular one. I don't have much experience with the Scott's Turf Builder products. I've recommended their Grub X, like their Grub X and their Disease X products. Like I've seen people use those and they had good results with them, but I've never used the 3400. It sounds like a lot of nitrogen, and again, I'm sure you got a good price on it, but I would be leery. Like I would get a soil test done and make sure that your soil, that you actually need that much nitrogen, because 34%, that's a pretty good, it's a pretty good jolt of nitrogen to your lawn. If you've not done a soil test and you need to know where to pick one up, you can look here. This is a link that will take you to my soil, which is this soil test kit. This is the one that I use, I like and recommend. Upside down, it's not upside down anymore. Come on, focus. It looks like that. It's a really, really good soil test kit, super easy to use. And the most important thing is you get your results back within a week. And the guys that run it are really quality guys. They do a great job. So that is what I'd recommend. So before you put that down on your lawn, check your soil and make sure that you actually need that much nitrogen. But to answer your question, I've not used that product. It's probably fine. It's probably going to work well. But again, before you put that much nitrogen in your lawn, I would make sure that you actually need that much P. But it's probably fine if you got a good deal on it. Hey, I mean, I'm sure you didn't do a bad thing. All right, let's see here. On the lawn, this is a question that is near and dear to my heart. All about top dressing. I love top dressing. I could do an entire live stream just on top dressing, because I love the way my lawn looks after doing it. All right. So the question is, when it comes to top dressing, is there a rule for knowing how much sand to get? Absolutely, man. There's always a rule. The rule is, the rule that I follow is 1 yard per 1,000 square feet. So that is typically a good, safe number, a safe amount of sand to get that's going to allow you to do good, even coverage on your lawn. So if you got I'll give you an example. Like we did, Alex is in my lawn, and we ended up getting like almost 18 yards of, no, is that right? No, we did. I have to look it up. I think we did 7, and then it's 13 yards. We did 7 yards first, and then like another 6 yards just after that. So we did about 13 yards, and it wasn't enough to do both his lawn and my lawn. His lawn is around 6,000, 7,000 square feet-ish thereabouts. So with 13 yards, that was enough to do his entire lawn. Did a really good job on his lawn. It was enough to do my front lawn, and enough to do just a portion of my back lawn. So it's the general rule is 1 yard per 1,000 square feet is a good number. It's going to give you, you're not going to have a ton, you're not going to have any material left over, and it's going to ensure good coverage. So that's what I would do on the line. Because the one thing you do not want, here's the thing, you can always find space for the extra sand. So you can always a week or two later, go and put a little more sand down in certain areas. But like the one thing you'll be irritated about, if you go through all the trouble of lining up your buddies, lining up the equipment, getting yourself psyched up to do that back-breaking work, top dress your lawn, and then you run out of sand. It's terrible. So you don't want that to happen. So the 1 yard per 1,000 square feet is a good number. That's what I would do, and I think you'll get good results. You get good results with it. That's what I've done. I've gotten good results with that number. Let's see here. Brooklyn Boy says, Milo, how many times a year should I apply it? So difficult question to answer. The best answer to that question is it depends. I think if you follow Milorganite's application calendar, I think they recommend applying it 4 times per year. I obviously don't do that, but it depends. And here's why. So I'll give you like a complete answer to your question and why I say it depends. If all you're doing is you just want to put Milo down and you're mowing your lawn a couple times, let's say you're mowing your lawn once a week, once every 10 days or so. You're not using plant growth regulator on it, because that's a huge factor in what kind of nitrogen content you put into your lawn, or how often you put nitrogen in your lawn. That's going to weigh in. Really, Milo, you could do Milo really every 6 to 8 weeks and be just fine. It's a slow release fertilizer. So really, once temps, again, I'm talking about my area in Georgia, once temps get over 50 degrees, like soil temps get over 50 degrees, it really begins to wake up. So really like late April and on into September, October, Milorganite's going to do just fine. So you could do an application late April, you could do one in June, you could do one in August, and then you could do one in September, October, and you'd be fine. I think Milorganite actually on their calendar has you doing an application before Thanksgiving. So the long short of it is it depends. If you are using plant growth regulator on your lawn, so you're suppressing that top growth, you can get a little bit more aggressive with your fertilization schedule. You can feed, you can do nitrogen more. But if you're doing that, I wouldn't use Milorganite. I would honestly, I would go to liquid route. Like if you're trying to really get the best results out of your lawn as far as like making sure the lawn always has enough nitrogen to where it never really falls off. The way to do that is you can use a granular, but really you want to spoon feed it with a liquid fertilizer monthly. So if you're following like what I do, I'd put down like a liquid carbon, and along with that mixture that goes in my backpack sprayer goes down also like 9% liquid fertilizer that has like 9% nitrogen in it. So, but I do that because I'm also putting down plant growth regulator. So, because if you do what I do and you don't use PGR, you will hate life. Do not do it. Like even in my on my blog that I talk about fertilization, like you'll notice the very first calendar is like this short, and it only has like Milorganite, it has like pre-emergent, it's like aerate, pre-emergent, Milorganite a few times, and pre-emergent done. That's for like the basic thing. You're not going to get in trouble doing that. And then towards the very bottom, meaning that if you read through that entire blog post, and I figure, okay, if you read all towards the end, you're really serious. That's where I have like a more complete schedule where I have like monthly fertilization and micronutrients and carbon and all this kind of stuff listed in there. And a huge part of doing that is you must use pre-emergent. You must use not pre-emergent. You must use a plant growth regulator to do that schedule. Otherwise, you're gonna hate life. So I know it's a long-winded answer to your question, Brooklyn boy, but like most things in life, the best answer is it depends. But Milo, 4 to 5 times a year, if you're just doing a very basic program, is going to be just fine. If you are not doing that, you're doing something a little more hardcore, I wouldn't use Milo as your primary fertilizer for that purpose. So hopefully that helps answer your question. No, and thanks. It's a great question, but again, I'm sorry to go on and on about it, but it really does depend. I had to really qualify my answer because I don't want you to get the impression I don't like Milorganite or that it's the best tool for the job. It's a good tool depending on what your goals are and what you're doing. Andrew, you are very, very welcome, sir. I appreciate it. Mahalo. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, Jay, I think I answered your question. Sorry it took me so long, guys. I'm scrolling down. I'm trying to give more complete answers. I don't want to run off and give you guys like short answers to your questions. I know you're taking some time out of your evening to be here, so I want to make sure I give you a good answer. LG, I feel the same way. I'm not sure. Okay, and then Scott Musgrave says Celsius. I guess that's the herbicide that he likes. And then it was talking about LG talking about whenever people the FedEx guy runs across your lawn. That's what happens when Moro and Ron and FedEx with your winning stickers. You guys leave LG alone, man. Okay, let's see. And then here's another recommendation. Wind Chariot says that Pete at GCI is Cool Season and Alan Lawn Care Now. Although Alan, I think, is in Florida, so he does a lot of. He covers. Alan does cover. I have some Cool Season content, but I think his grass is St. Augustine, so I think he's more technically warm season. But Alan used to work for I think it's True Green or something like that. He used to be a lawn care professional, so he knows a lot about this stuff too. He's also someone that has a lot of great content. He's like godfather of YouTube lawn care people. So definitely check out his content as well too if you're looking for some good suggestions. I Linton question. He says, "Hi, Ron, just got here. Do you play golf?" I used to play a lot of golf. In the 2000s. So sounds like a long time. Like 15 years ago, I was playing golf. There's a time where I was playing golf a couple times a week. Because I got really, really into it. I still have my clubs. I have like a set of Mizunos that I still have. It's actually a fairly nice set of sticks that I still have. But golf is one of those things, at least for me anyway. Like I don't like to do something poorly. So, and golf, unfortunately, is one of those things that you either do it regularly enough to where you stay reasonably good at it, or not do it at all. Because if you're a person that can just go out there and just shoot 110 and be happy with it, then golf is fun. But if you're a person that doesn't like that, like someone's kind of competitive like me, I don't do it because I don't have the time to play and to practice like I used to in the past. So I don't play golf that much anymore. But to answer your question, yes, I used to. I don't anymore. I haven't hit the ball in several years. But I enjoyed it when I played it. It's an awesome sport. A lot of fun. Meet a lot of great people. Let's see. LG. So newbie question. I think LG setting me up, but here we go. He says, interview question: most synthetic labels instruct you for most synthetic fertilizer labels instruct you to water it in after application. What exactly does that mean? Quarter inch, full inch, more? Seems kind of vague to me. So the answer to that is it depends, LG. So if when I think about watering in a fertilizer, the idea for watering it in is to get the fertilizer from on top of the canopy down to where it's making contact with the soil. That's what I think of when it comes to watering in a fertilizer. So I wouldn't, it wouldn't. A quarter inch is probably okay for that. But here's the thing: it's not as simple as just saying a quarter of an inch, because it depends on the fertilizer too. So, like, take for example, the two fertilizers that I like, right? I have like the ProScape and I have like the Country Club. So the ProScape has an SGN of like a 150, I think. I'm doing stuff from memory, but it's a larger prill size. So a prill size like that's that big on my lawn that's very tight, I'd have to put more water on it to wash it down through a tighter canopy to get it to try and touch the soil, right? Whereas like the Country Club, which is one I switched to here that I really like, it's got an SGN of like 80, so it's almost like a very fine powder, or just above being a powder. It's very, very fine. So that one, I really technically don't need to water in at all. I mean, if I do, I could just run the sprinklers, get the, just knock it down, and I'm done. So the best answer is it depends. But if I had to give a new person a suggestion, I would say a quarter inch is fine. Just to where you are washing it off the top of sitting on top of your grass, to where you're trying to get that product in contact with the soil, because you don't want if some of those the fertilizer sits on the grass itself, like on the leaf itself, for too long, can actually burn the grass, right? So that's where a lot of the suggestions are watering it in, kind of getting it down into the soil to start to kind of get that process started, where the microbes can grab it, start eating it, and make what all the nutrients that are in it available to the plant. Like, that doesn't happen until the fertilizer's in the soil or touching the soil. So that's the whole theory behind watering in. It is vague, but a quarter inch is probably safe. But it also depends on the kind of fertilizer you're using. Like something like a Country Club, like with a very, very fine prill, I wouldn't even water it in at all. You don't really need to. You don't have to, because it's so fine. It just kind of goes right through the canopy, and it gets down into the soil pretty easily. So best answer is it depends, but quarter inch is a good number. It's a good number to go by. And the only way you're going to know that is by calibrating your irrigation system. But let's say this: 5 minutes per zone. I'll just wet finger in the air. 5 minutes per zone is probably sufficient to water in most fertilizer for most people. So that hopefully that helps. Great question, LG. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. So Super TA says, the question says, while on the topic of nutsedge, is it necessary to wait to visibly see it before applying treatment, or you can spray a couple weeks early? I usually see it in June, July here in New Jersey. I mean, pre-emergent is always better, man. If you can, it's the thing with nutsedge. I'm not sure that I don't know very many pre-emergents that work very well against nutsedge. That's the reason why it's such an issue. I've always waited until I see it to take care of it. And when I see it, what I've used is Image, and that's worked well for me. So that's actually a really good question, Super TA. I've not really heard of anyone really trying to treat nutsedge prior to it emerging. I don't know if a lot of pre-emergents are super effective against it. That's a good question. I got to ask. I'll ask Matt. I'll have to ping him and get his thoughts on that one. He's definitely gonna be able to answer that, because for me, in my case, I've always treated nutsedge after it started growing through, because in my case, there's this swale area, and this area to the right part of my back part of my lawn is when I start seeing it grow in. And it's typically after I've gotten like spring showers come and it's starting to get like a lot of regular rain. There's only a few areas where I get a few tufts of nutsedge fairly regularly. So and for me, it's always been after the fact. But great question. I'm gonna do some research on that so I can get a better answer for you. That is a good one. I like that, because nutsedge is something that that a lot of people deal with. That's a great question. That's a good one. All right, next, moving on, pre-emerge. All right, moving on. Let's see. Lee Farmer says, you need an update on the vanity strip. Man, the vanity strip is not looking too vanity right now. That's the update on the vanity strip, Lee. However, to answer your question, what I'm going to do is tomorrow I will go out and I will do a YouTube story. So here's the thing: with the YouTube stories, you can only see those on your phone. So I'm going to do a short little 15-second clip showing you what the vanity strip looks like. And I am also going to take a picture of it and I'll post it in the announcements, like the YouTube announcements for my channel. So kind of like where you guys see every week where I post the live stream that I'm going to be doing. I'll have a picture there of what the vanity strip looks like. But if you want to see 15 seconds of video of the vanity strip with my commentary, check out a YouTube story, which will be up tomorrow morning. I'll do it tomorrow morning, assuming there's no frost on the ground. If not, you may have to wait till like tomorrow around 2 in the afternoon. So I have to go to karate after that. So depending on what the temperatures are, you will get it tomorrow. Let's just say we'll be safe. Check tomorrow afternoon by 2 p.m. It will be both on the announcements and there'll also be a YouTube story. So don't look in the morning. Look at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I'll have it done by then. You will have your update, Lee. I'm glad to hear that the vanity strip has a fan. Nobody cares about me, but they care about the vanity strip. Okay, that's fine. I got it. And then Jay, yeah, says Ryan is decent. Yeah, thank you very much. But you're very welcome, Jay. Again, it doesn't take much to keep your lawn pretty awesome, man. And I'm glad to hear that you're going to give CarbonPro G and L a shot. Remember that Site One also makes the CarbonPro L now available in a 1 gallon container. So it's got that sea kelp and some humates in it. So it's a little bit less painful to the bank account to have to buy it, because again, one gallon covers like 128,000 square feet, I think. So it covers a lot. That's almost 3 acres, a little 2 point something. So that 1 gallon for most lawns is gonna be plenty. It's gonna be a lot. So if you go into Site One to go get that CarbonPro L, assuming you don't have it yet, ask them to get you that gallon container instead of the 2.5 gallon one. Because I think that one goes for $125, $130, somewhere around there. But just check with them on that. Very good. J at J LTC Cavalry, salute you, sir. Let's see what else we have here. So a question from Roderick Rice. It says, any experience using Dimension as pre-emergent in common Bermuda? Love the camera setup. Any chance you can cover the lighting and camera setup for your live video? I can do that. So Dimension, I've not used it. I know that that a lot of the lawn care services around here like that. It's hang on one second here, because there's the two common pre-emergents that you typically see in this area that a lot of the professionals use is they will use Barricade. So it's like a prodiamine. And then they'll follow that up with like Spectacle Flow in the winter months, because it tends to last a little bit longer. Those are the most common ones that are used around here. Dimension is probably going to be just fine too. But I know prodiamine and Spectacle Flow, that combination works really well. One in the spring, one in the fall, for keeping weeds from out of your lawn as much as possible. I've not personally used Dimension to be able to know, but it's probably fine. Roderick, again, I'm assuming that it's rated for common Bermuda. You can probably use Dimension without an issue. But prodiamine I know works really well, and Spectacle Flow works really well. Those two are ones that I know work well with Bermuda. So if you want one that you guaranteed, yes, go with those. As far as the video and lighting setup, here's the thing with that. I mean, I've been tempted to do that, and I can do a video on that. The thing is that because my content is primarily lawn care, like if I do a video that's talking about like, the audio interface I'm using and the lighting and the camera, like a lot of you guys are probably gonna get irritated by that because you're here to talk about lawn care stuff. So you may not necessarily like that. So how about this? We'll leave it to the live stream. There are 50 something people in here right now. You guys say, like, if you guys want to see a video, like a BTS, like a behind the scenes video of like how I do the live streams and all the video that goes into it and everything, type yes in the chat and I will film one. But if I don't get like a bunch of people saying they want to see that, then I'm less likely to do it. Or I might just start another channel and do that kind of stuff. But I try to not mix it too much because I don't want to irritate people. But it's something to do. I mean, it's winter months right now, and I guess mixing it up right now would probably be a safe time to do something like that. But people comment in the chat and let me know if you guys would be interested in what Roderick is asking for as far as like a behind the scenes is how all this works. All right. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? On the lawn, thanks for the awesome help. You are very welcome, sir. Tired of all the bumps? Yeah, I mean, getting a smooth and even lawn, man, makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference in just the appearance. Like it looks awesome, and it's a It's a huge investment. If you do it yourself, as far as like leveling your lawn, it's a ton of work, but man, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. So just know it's a ton of work, but you're gonna like the way it looks when you're done on the lawn training. And LG with the super chat.
Super chat received.
LG saying this segment has been sponsored in part by Sitewide Landscape Supply and viewers like you. There you go, LG. I read what you wrote. Always give me a hard time, but yeah. It's not actually sponsored by Site One, but yeah, it's LG always gives me a hard time about that. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate the generosity. George, Princess Cut Lawn Care, what's up, man? George, thanks for chiming in. If you want to see someone that, as far as another great YouTube channel to check out George, Princess Cut Lawn Care. George is in Chi-Town, I think, Chicago area. So he's not running Bermuda, and we're not gonna hold that against him. But he has a lot of cool content. If you guys that are dealing with like snow, as far as like snowblower equipment and things that kind of take care of your lawn in winter months, which I can't really help you with, George is your guy. So check out his channel. He's got a lot of great content. Go out there and show him some love. David Plonko, hey, what's up, man? Great, thanks for chiming in, David. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come hang out. Rolex DSSD, thank you, sir. Thanks for coming in. Let's see here. So Jay, let's see what we have here. Cheryl throwing down a big super chat. Cheryl, thank you so much.
Super chat received.
So Cheryl is lady with the amazing Zoysia lawn. At some point, Cheryl, next spring, I'm gonna have to get you to send me some pictures of your lawn, your fresh lawn, and so I can show the viewers of your Zoysia lawn, if you're okay with that, because you have a pretty awesome lawn, and I think people would like to see it. But thank you so much. I really appreciate the generosity. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate the support, and Merry Christmas to you as well. Hope you guys are having a good season. All right, let's see here. So Jay comes back to the question about sand for leveling. He says, why am I having a hard time understanding sand for leveling? I think of beach sand and no grass growing benefit to it. Wouldn't roots struggle with adapting, and rather than adding more organic soil be better? Yeah, so you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Jay. So that's why sand of itself, right? That's why using like a sand soil mix or sand with some organic material is the best bet. For if you're not willing to do if you're not willing to do something like a CarbonPro G along with your top dressing, because like to your point, just putting sand alone of its own has very little organic material. It has very little nutritional value for the soil. The one thing that sand does do, as far as like water retention, as far as making it easier for the soil to hold on to water and helping with drainage, sand is very, very good for that. But remember, when you're putting down top dressing, like you're putting down maybe like this much. I mean, like it seems like it's a lot when you look at your lawn, like it's all covered in sand, looks like a beach, but you're typically not putting down much more than maybe half an inch at any given point. So it's really not a ton, and it doesn't stay at the surface strictly. It gets mixed in with the underlying soil as well if you're aerating your lawn. That's why whenever I say when you top dress, don't just like top dress on top of your turf without like doing something to break up compaction and to allow your underlying soil and the top dressing mix to blend, to meld, and kind of become one. It's a very small amount. Again, it's thin, so it's not like it's replacing that. And it's so yeah, but to your point, in most cases, adding some topsoil, or I think even better, using something like a CarbonPro G, something that's very, very rich in organic material, is the way to go for your grass to balance the benefits of leveling. Because for leveling, sand is better because sand doesn't really break down or move around quite as easily as topsoil. Like if you were to go out and say level your lawn, right, with just 100% soil, like you went out and got like some really, really good topsoil, you leveled your lawn with it, the lawn is gonna look awesome, it's gonna green up, it's gonna look great. But when it starts to rain heavily or you start getting a lot of foot traffic on it, it's not gonna hold that level because it's organic material, and the organic material over time breaks down. It goes away over time. So that is where sand is better. That's why golf courses use it, is because you're able to sculpt and you're able to level and sculpt the look of your landscape with sand, because it tends to stay in place better than purely organic top dressing wood. So hopefully that helps. Your best bet is a sand soil mix if you want to do that, or if you want to lessen the chance of having to deal with any kind of weeds in your lawn, do aerate do CarbonPro G, and then do like 100% river sand. That's going to give you a really good result as far as your top dressing. It's really going to stay in place, but you've also taken care of that organic component because you put in some biochar and you put in some compost to your lawn as part of the process. So hopefully that helps. If you need some more follow up on that, let me know. Just comment and we'll figure it out. I definitely plan to do like on the for those of you guys that have just joined the live stream that are new in here. So I am putting together a course that if you look here, we get rid of this one thing that's distracting at golfcourselawn.com. If you look there, the URL that's normally there has changed. If you go to there, that site, like what that is an opt-in for a course I'm going to be putting together on lawn care. And one of the modules that I plan to make is one on top dressing. That's one of the modules that I could use some of the content that I've already done with Alex's lawn, but I want to shoot something that's a little bit more detailed, and that's going to mean mating until late spring or summer of 2021. So what's kind of cool is that the course is going to grow over time. I'm going to keep adding material to it because I want it to be really, really good, high quality content, very like no fluff. You're not going to hear, me chatting. Well, I'm not going to say you're going to hear me talking too much, but that's going to be a thing. You're going to hear me talking. But it's going to be just what you need to know to get the result. So that's the idea behind it. But great question, Jay. Hopefully my answer helped clarify things a little bit. It's really, you're not putting like this much sand down. You're putting down literally, half an inch at most. So it's not as much as you might think. But great question. Great question. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Lake House Lawn Care says, Ron, you're the man. Thank you so much, sir. There's a lot. No, you guys are the ones that make this possible. So thank you for coming to hang out with me this evening. I really, really appreciate it. Let's see. So question follow-up from On the Lawn Training. It says, when it comes to spraying weeds, how do you know when you need to reapply or just wait? Is there a time frame that you should just definitely wait to reapply? Okay, so when it comes to herbicides, outside of pre-emergent, like you want to keep herbicides off your lawn as much as possible. Like you just don't like spraying for weeds it should not be something, if you're doing everything right, like if you're following like my suggestions, like the Ron Henry approach to lawn care, like you shouldn't be spraying for weeds a ton. I mean, now here's the thing. Let me qualify that. If you're just starting out, like you just now are taking care of your lawn, like the first season, maybe even the second season, you're going to have weeds. It's because you're probably not mowing the grass like you need to be. You may or may not have been using pre-emergent. You may or may not have been cutting the grass at the right height with the right frequency. All of those things add up to reducing the amount of weeds that you have in your lawn. So you don't, as far as reapplying, you really shouldn't need to like regularly be putting herbicides in your lawn if you're doing it right. Outside of a spring pre-emergent and a fall pre-emergent, and then maybe an occasional spot spray if you see some nutsedge here and there, you shouldn't be having to blanket spray your lawn with herbicides throughout the year if you're doing it right. And again, a lot of that comes down to your mowing practices. So if you're cutting frequently, at the right height with the right equipment, you're gonna be surprised at how much less weeds you're gonna have to be dealing with in your lawn. So, but as far as when you should wait to reapply, so let me give you an example where that would be a thing. Let's say you're dealing with like say nutsedge, okay? With nutsedge, I have seen where because it's kind of tenacious to get rid of, like you could put down an application of say Image, and I have had to do this. I put down an application of Image. Image takes about 10 to 12 days to begin really working. I'll put that down. Let it run its course, and about 3 weeks later, so say I put it down now, 3 weeks later, I will follow up that area with another application, just a spot spray of just those areas where the nutsedge was to really keep it gone. But that's the only thing I do that with is nutsedge. I don't do that for anything else in my lawn. I definitely don't blanket my lawn with herbicide throughout the year for any reason. Because there's no reason to. That's why pre-emergent is so important on the lawn training, because you really want to prevent weeds from even being a problem in the first place. So hope that helps. Great question though. Great question. That's a really good one. Let's see, what else do we have here? Hey bro, I remember you. I do remember you. You're the one that always like chats in my comments and just says, hey bro, and I say hey back. Yep. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have here? And actually, so I'm scrolling down. I'm seeing you're referring to nutsedge, specifically referring to nutsedge. I tried Image last season, it worked, but I'm a newbie and I could have jacked it up. So yeah, so nutsedge is one of those ones, one of the few, probably the only weed where I do a second application 3 weeks later when I use Image to get rid of it, to keep it gone for that season. So yeah, so you got me. I'm literally reading through the comments as I move down. So yeah, so nutsedge would be the one case for that. But good question on the lawn training. Let's see here. Jake Pompano comes again. He says that liquid spectricide and nutsedge does wonders. I only need it twice a year and it kills it. So there you go. So yeah, so spectricide. I tell you, don't think because spectricide is basic and because you can find it at Home Depot that it's not a good product. Here, the thing with spectricide is that it is not cost efficient. Like it's if you look at how much it treats versus what it costs, it's very expensive in compare. Even though it's only like $10, $12, $13 a bag, it seems cheap. But for a pre-emergent or for a herbicide, it's actually very expensive compared to the amount of coverage you would get out of like a bottle of Speed Zone or Dismiss or like the one from Bayer, the Total, like the Tribute Total, like that's like a small tin of that stuff covers a ton, right? So those products work very well by volume. They are more expensive than some of the professional products, but what you are paying for is the ease of application and the fact that they're kind of hard to mess up on your lawn if you follow the bag rate. So that's why I recommend them to most people that aren't pros or not really super hardcore, not really diligent about their measuring and whatnot. Because with the professional products, if you go heavy, if you say, oh, I'm just going to double the rate just to see what happens, you're going to destroy your lawn. Whereas with the stuff you find at Home Depot, done right, you can get a great result with it, and you're not going to damage a lot of the process, which is why I really like to recommend those a lot. Let's see here. Wind Chariot, thank you so much, sir. Got a super chat.
Super chat received.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the generosity. Thanks so much. Let's see here. Let's see. Question, he says, Ron, is it possible to grow paspalum in your climate? I am gonna have to confess, I don't know what paspalum is. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to make a note of that. I have no idea what paspalum is. I have to look. So I don't know. I'll look into it and I'll get back to you. If I can find a short second here in the stream, I'll look. If I'm multitasking, can try and figure out what paspalum is. But I don't know. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? Oh, Wise Guy. He says, hey, Ron, I found out the problem in my zoysia, and I can say from all experience is do not mix iron with humic and then spray it on your yard. I've learned the hard way this past summer in late August and no more. Okay, so it sounds like, yeah. So, and that's the thing. A lot of things you can get away with on Bermuda lawns. Zoysia, you got to be a lot more careful. So, I don't know that there really shouldn't be a negative interaction. I wouldn't think between iron and like most humic acids. Most humics humates are pretty benign. It's just a soil amendment. So it shouldn't do a lot of damage. But if you get your rate a little too heavy or they're off or the two products happen to just not play nicely together and there's some kind of bad interaction, I could see how you could get a bad result, Wise Guy. But traditionally, you shouldn't get a problem with that. Because a good example, like CarbonPro L, like the product that you guys see that I talk about a lot. CarbonPro L has humates in it, and it also has iron in it. It's a very small amount of iron. It's like from around 1% iron. But that's a case where you have sea kelp, iron, and humates in one product, and it works really well. So it could be the mix you use, could be the blend, could be the ratios or something that just caused the issue. But also the fact that you also have zoysia, you got to be careful. Zoysia is one of those ones you got to be really, really, like, if anything, you want to back it down a little bit on your rates, because zoysia, if you hurt it, you're in for a long recovery. Unlike Bermuda, where some Mike Tyson grass, you hit it, it's gonna bounce back. So, but cool. Thanks for sharing that, Wise Guy. I really, really appreciate it, and thanks for chiming in the live stream. Let's see. So let's question from Doug C here. He says, Ron, I don't know if you've covered this already, but what's your recommendation on getting rid of moss on the ground? Where would that process fall in the soil test, aerate, top dressing process? Okay, so it depends on why you're having moss, Doug. Moss on your ground can come from a couple of different things. If your soil pH is low, so if your soil is more acidic, if it's low, moss tends to like more acidic soils. So I would say let's get a soil test done if you've not done one already, just to rule that out. Also, areas where there is a lot of where you don't get very good drainage, those areas tend to be ones that where moss tends to thrive. So shade, poor drainage, and low soil pH. That's like that's like the recipe for moss to become a thing. If you're sure your soil is good, your soil pH is where it needs to be, and the way we can do that, if you need a soil test, you can get one here. That's going to take you to to their soil test kit, the one I recommend. If we assume that your soil is good, so you do a soil test and all it's good, and you don't have water, and you're not, actually you don't have like water standing, and you're not dealing with shade, you can try using that product from Scott's, like their Moss their Moss EX product. That product works pretty well. And see how it does. See what it does as far as getting with it. It doesn't, as far as it being part of the top dressing process, it's not like something that really is like a core aspect per se. Like getting rid of moss is almost like, say, like treating nuts. It's a separate problem from like a top dressing or aeration, like those horticultural practices on your turf. But I would definitely look into getting rid of it. Get a soil test done. If your pH is low, put some lime in the lawn and kind of boost that up to try and help that. But you can also try that product from Scott's called Moss EX or Moss X. That product works. It can be pretty effective against moss as well. So hope that helps. And if that's not what you're asking, let me know, and I'll get to your question as I keep moving down through the comments. Great question, though. All right, so we got a bunch of yeses, yes to the video setup. Okay, cool. That'll be fun. Then I will film a behind the scenes. I will work on that. That'll be fun to do over the next week or two here over the holidays, and film something like that, showing you guys the camera I use and like my gimbal setup, like everything that goes into producing the content for you guys. It's actually a lot more work than you guys think, but I love doing it. It's lots of fun. But sure, I'll do that. Should be a cool one. I also want you guys to complain that, hey, I'm turning into a tech channel, because I'm not turning into a tech channel, because you guys wanted it. All right, so Kevin here, getting back to the questions. He says, Ron, when is your next CarbonPro G app? I'm picking up my first lot next week. So my next CarbonPro G application is going to be in January. I've been doing it monthly, so I will pick a string of warmer days, like whenever, because in Georgia, it doesn't freeze here for very long. If you just wait a week and it's going to get back to, the 40s or 50s. But my next application is going to be in January. I've been doing it monthly. If you guys have been watching the series on the dormancy rates between Tifway 419 and Arden 15, when I think it was in video 10, the one before this one where I closed out that series, I did my November or my December CarbonPro G application. So my next one will be in January. So couple weeks, 2 weeks from now is when I'll be putting that down, and I'll be doing my typical thing of 160 pounds of it, or 4 bags of it, so slightly heavier than their heavy rate. Because I'm really trying to build this stuff up in the soil and see how things look in the spring. We'll see how it works out. Great question. I'm glad to hear that you are getting on that CarbonPro G. I think you're gonna like it, man. It's a great product. Winter says he can't find Brand Supreme Green even at Site 1. Have they replaced it with something new? So I don't get it at Site 1. I get it at a place called Central Turf and Irrigation. So if you look up Central Turf and Irrigation, they carry Brand Supreme Green. I don't know if Do My Own carries it. I don't know if they carry it, but they can get it to you. If you really want to use that product, that is, those guys can probably get that product to you. Just give them let them know that I sent you. Just say, hey, Ron mentioned that you guys can get me Brand Supreme Green, and they should be able to take care of you. I'm looking here on Do My Own right now, and I don't see, they have other products from Brand, but I don't see the Supreme Green here. They may have some other equivalent for it, but I don't see that on here. But that's an awesome product, man. But there are equivalents that are just as good too. So it's not like you have to use the Brand Supreme Green. You can use other stuff as well. All right, let's see. LG's like, where's Joshua B when you need him? You guys are savage. All right, let's see. So Super TA Jay Pompano. Jay says he used Sedgehammer and Image, and I was curious if there's a way to prevent it from coming in and looking at it slowly die. Yes. Great point. But yeah, that's a good combination. Sedgehammer and Image. Actually, SMK is who turned me on to that. I think SMK's in the live stream here. I think so. Yeah, I see him. He's always he's like the scientist. He's like the lawn chemicals scientist that we had on the live stream a few episodes ago that answered all of you guys' herbicides questions. So yeah, but he's the one that turned me on to that blend of Sedgehammer and Image to target Nuts Edge. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have here? You're welcome for the shout out, George. Awesome, thanks and keep making the lawn content, man. You do a really good job with the channel, so keep it up. Let's see. So Roderick says a Spectacle G pre-emergent granular has pre-emergent qualities for sedge. It says on their label. I checked the label. Yeah. So okay. So I'm not surprised because like Spectacle Pro, like their Spectacle Flow is like, are you talking about like as far as pre-emergents go? That's like the Cadillac of pre-emergents. It is a baller pre-emergent. It's really, really good stuff. So I'm not surprised that it will take care of that it can also target sedges too. But it's, I mean, like anything else, it's the reason why it works is that it's really expensive. It's one of the more expensive pre-emergents you can get, but it's really, really good stuff. So I'm not surprised, Roderick. Great, thanks for letting me. Thanks for sharing that with the other viewers. Great stuff. And Super TA talking about the benefits of leveling your lawn over time. It makes a huge appearance. He says leveling your lawn over time makes a dramatic appearance difference in the lawn. It makes it much better. You keep your Kentucky bluegrass currently at 1 inch, and people keep asking if it's fake grass. Is that one of the best comments you can get when someone asks you if your grass is fake or they tell you it looks like it's fake? Yeah, it's always like, oh yeah, I know. It's just, or they ask me, or the cool thing is, like when we did Alex's lawn, and people have like when I've been out like filming or something, and they've asked, oh, your neighbor's got lawn, like his lawn looks like yours. What kind of grass did you put down on his lawn? I'm like, actually, his grass is exact same grass that's on your lawn, and they don't believe it. It's just it's like grass. Bermuda can look amazing. It's just the good soil and cutting it frequently with the right equipment. So get a real mower and cut it a lot, and it's going to look awesome. But yeah, awesome, great. I'm great to hear that you're getting that compliment, Super T. That's one of the best compliments you can get on your lawn, as far as, hey, is your grass fake? All right, so on the lawn training says, hey Ron, I know you recommend aeration along with leveling. Does that apply for liquid aeration as well? If so, should it be done before or after? Okay, so when I mean aeration, I mean like hollow tine aeration, like getting the thing that like drags you around the lawn and makes you look like a crazy person, like the actual, like the Ryan, like the big green thing you can rent at Home Depot, the one that says Ryan on the side of it, like that is what I mean when I talk about aeration. So the liquid aeration, it is not equivalent to you doing hollow tine aeration. Liquid aeration, in my mind, like what that means is you are putting something in the soil. You're putting a product on the soil that has a microbial package in it. So something like the Biospectrum, like that product I showed you guys from Miramichi Green, like that is technically liquid aeration, because what you're doing is you're putting the microbes in the soil, and they're gonna start eating on the fats. They're gonna start eating on all the stuff that's built up in the soil, all that thatch layer, breaking it down and technically aerating the soil. But it's a really slow way of doing it. So liquid aeration and like physical aeration are not equivalent. They are not the same thing. They technically can accomplish similar things, kind of, sort of, over time. But like hollow tine aerating is much superior in my mind, because you are literally creating voids in the soil that's going to allow air, water, break up compaction. It's going to allow. It's really, really good for just softening up the soil and making anything that you put down get into the soil better. So, as far as when I refer to aeration and top dressing, I am referring to hollow tine aeration, not liquid aeration. You can do that along with it. You're fine to put down like a CarbonPro L or like or like the Biospectrum or whatever your liquid aeration product of choice is. But just know that is in addition to like doing hollow tine aeration. But great question. I'm not often clear on that, but it's a good question on the lawn. Thanks for asking, sir. All right. Let's see here. What else do we have? Windchair says he's killed his lawn by applying image too heavily and over applying and damaging the lawn. Yep, like anything, man. With herbicides, when it comes to herbicides, I don't want to say less is more, but I should say that you don't want to go over the rate, because it's interesting. Something that Matt said, I was talking. Hopefully I can get him to come on a live stream at some point. But one thing he said to me, and it made a lot of sense. He said, if you put a herbicide down, make sure you apply it at the recommended rate. Like literally follow the recommended rate. Like if you go a touch lighter, okay, but don't like half the rate. Like some people say they'll put down like half rate on herbicides. It's a terrible thing to do, because the way he explained it, it's almost like a vaccine. Like you're giving the weeds a taste of the herbicide, and weeds can become resistant to certain herbicides over time. So that's why whenever a product says put down like this rate, like put down the rate that it recommends and no more, because that's, with all the testing they've done, that's what's going to produce a really good result. So it was a really interesting chat I had with them as far as herbicides and like over applying, under applying, like what's the right rates, and the way he explained it made a lot of sense. So to your point, Wind Chariot, like over applying even image, which is typically a fairly safe herbicide, will do a lot of damage if you overdo it. So let's see. On the complete lawn training, I did a complete renovation in September with Blue Blank Kentucky with KBG. Check it out. Super excited for the spring. Super cool, man. When you say this is at on the lawn training, not me. I guess from someone else. But cool. Thanks for sharing that you got your renovation done. SMK, man. SMK in the house, man. We have the man, the myth, the legend. He says, "What up, Ron? How's it going?" I am doing well, sir. Thank you for chiming in. Paspalum is a trash grass used on the roadside right of ways here in Georgia. Dallas grass is also a type of paspalum, but not pretty down here. So it sounds like something I don't want in my lawn. From what you're describing to me, SMK, sounds like that is something I do not want in my lawn. But thanks for letting me know. So now I know it's the grass that grows along the side of the highway. So it's something that's like something they put down to kind of hold turf or hold the soil in place is what it is. Sounds like. But cool. Thanks for chiming in, sir. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it. And SMK, always a wealth of knowledge. Always in here to bail me out when the questions come in. Let's see here. Richard Hartwell says, I just got my first reel mower. Congratulations, man. Applause is in order for that. Congratulations. That's pretty awesome that you got your first reel mower. You're ready to step up your lawn game. That's pretty awesome, dude. You're gonna like it. If you don't mind, let me know which kind of reel mower you got. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's a manual reel, you're gonna notice a difference in your grass. You get a powered one, it's gonna be even crazy different. But I mean, reel mowers are a good thing. I started out with a manual one, and it made a big difference in my lawn too. So congrats on the reel mower. Let's see. Morrow is here. How much different is bent grass from Bermuda grass? Would that be the ideal golf course lawn for a true golf course lawn? It's a good question. I don't know how much different bent grass is than Bermuda. I know bent grass is used on greens oftentimes, Morrow. The little bit that I know about it, I know that it's definitely not as hardy as Bermuda. So as far as being careful as keeping disease and that kind of thing out of it, you have to be a bit more careful. I know it's used on golf greens. That's when I think of bent grass. That's what I think of when it comes to that's what I think when I think of bent grass. I don't think of it as something that I would put on my lawn. It says, would it be ideal golf course lawn for a true golf course lawn? I mean, what do you mean true golf course lawn? My lawn is a true golf course lawn, man. Don't see. You're just fighting words, man. I don't understand where you're going with this. But all seriousness aside, if you were trying to create, say, a putting green, bent grass would probably be a better choice than Bermuda. So bent grass for a putting green is probably a better choice than Bermuda would be. But if we're trying to do what I'm trying to do, which is like create like that tee box, nice cropped cut look, or fairway look, then Bermuda is just fine for that. But bent grass, again, it probably tolerates being cut a little bit shorter. For greens, a putting green and bent grass is probably better. But great question. Great question. Ricky Shockley III says, "Hey, Ron, just tuning in. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining in." He says, should I be doing anything at all during the winter for tall fescue or just really leave it be during the spring? I don't have a tall fescue lawn, so I can't say for sure. My advice, my thing is probably going to say leave it until the spring. If you want to do anything, let's do it. Let's get a soil test done. So to make, and if your soil pH is off, we can do some things to try and adjust that now if you'd like, but outside of that, there's probably not a lot that's going to be required for tall fescue. But then again, I don't have a fescue lawn. What I'm telling you, this is based on what I'm doing with Bermuda. Like my lawn is dormant, not right now for the most part. So right now I'm just really focusing on amending the soil, making sure my soil pH is where it needs to be, all my levels where it needs to be. So when springtime rolls around, I'm good to go. And I'm also infusing a lot of carbon into my lawn to help with nutrient uptake, to help with water retention, do all those things to kind of I'm trying to build healthier soil this time of year as much as I can. So you can do the same thing with fescue. And the way to know that, get a soil test done if you haven't gotten one done. And based on the results of that will give you the data you need to know if you should do, what you do to your soil, if anything, at this time of year. So Hope that helps. Great question, Ricky, and thank you so much, sir, for chiming in. I appreciate it. Let's see. Wise guy says my rate was too much with both. I put 4 ounces of both products with a hose end and burned it. Yeah. So this is so you said you put down iron and humic acid. Yeah. So you went. That's what you were doing, wise guy. Yeah. So that's that. Too much of anything is bad. Like too much water is poisonous, right? If you said that you drank too much water, it can at some point becomes toxic. So like anything else, it's like all things in moderation. But at least you figured out what it was. Next time when you do your lawn, you just know follow that rate to the letter, to the T, and you're going to get a good result. I mean, there's the manufacturers that make these. Think about it this way, right? If you're a manufacturer of iron or you're a manufacturer for humics, like you want to sell as much of the product as you possibly can, right? So it's in their best interest to give you a rate that allows you to consume as much of the product as possible without damaging your lawn. So you should assume that the rate they give you is the rate that is that fits that need. It's a good rate that's going to get a good result with a little margin of safety. And any much more above that, especially when it comes to herbicides, is going to be only bad news. And when it comes to iron, it can become bad news too because your lawn really doesn't need a ton of it. But at least I'm glad you got it figured out, wise guy. Again, let me know if there's anything I can help out with, and your lawn's going to come back, so don't sweat it. Don't sweat it too much. Don't sweat it too much. But at least we got it figured out. All right, let's see what we got here. Gary Gale says, Ron, what can you do to get the dry brown grass out of your lawn that the winter frost from that winter frost burn? My Celebration Bermuda grass is half green and half brown. You're talking about before spring. Dude, I wouldn't do too much of that right now. Because here's the thing: anything you do to your lawn, let's say you were to scalp your lawn during winter months, which is I'm not saying to do that. If you were going to do that, like the lawn's not going to recover because Bermuda's dormant right now, and really all you're doing is you're increasing the chances of creating problems. Because you're thinning out the canopy, and that's just making it easier for weeds to take root. As painful as it is, I would wait until like springtime. Like even if you waited till like early spring, let's say, I don't know where you are in the country, but let's say you waited until like late February, early March, and you said, okay, I'm getting a little bit of tinging of green in the lawn here and there, and now I'm gonna scalp it to try and like start stimulating growth. Like that's a better time to do it than now. I wouldn't do it during winter months. The lawn getting that brown, that frost, that burn that you're getting in some ways it's kind of a good thing, right? Because it's protecting the roots of the grass. I mean, you're giving up the top growth, which you don't really care about right now, with the hopes that the roots, the parts of the lawn of the grass that's still alive in the soil, is going to be nice and healthy come springtime. If we scalp that, now we're going to be exposing the parts that we need to be healthy in the spring for the grass to grow to the cold temperatures that could ultimately damage and or kill it. So my recommendation would be to not do anything. Like if you want to cut your grass, I do that. If you want to cut your grass, during winter months to just kind of give it to kind of even it up and make it look pretty, put some stripes on it, you can do that. But I would not do any kind of major scalping. I would not substantially lower the height of cut at all during winter months because it's not only bad things can come from that in my opinion. So probably not the answer you're looking for, but at the same time, I don't want you to do something now and around springtime you hate the way your lawn looks because we were trying to get rid of some of the brown that's on there now. So I hope that helps. Let's see. Super TA says that, I agree. Moss is a problem in more shady areas. I hear iron can help with moss. Yeah, I've heard that too, Super TA. But it's in many ways, so putting iron can help with it. Nitrogen can like those, it can burn it. That can help with moss as well. But again, you want to, like anything else, you want to try and create conditions that it's more difficult for the moss to grow versus using a product to treat it, because if you don't change the conditions, it's just going to come back. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, could you use herbicides, like a post-emergent herbicides all the time as a means of weed control? Sure, you could do that. That's one strategy. Or you could just grow really, really healthy, thick grass. Make sure you have good soil. Make sure you keep enough nitrogen in your lawn. And that's going to keep your lawn healthy, which in many ways is going to keep most weeds that people deal with on warm season grasses away. So I would, if you're dealing with a shaded area, If you can make it less shaded, like trim the canopy, like bring the canopy of the trees that are creating the shade up a little bit, or never know. Maybe you give up that area where you got the moss, and maybe just put some like some dressing there, like some pine straw or something around that area. But I mean, getting grass to grow there. In other words, if the moss isn't growing there, you want grass to grow there, and for the grass to grow there, there has to be enough sunlight. So you have to decide kind of what you want for that area and adjust the physical conditions so that you can get what you want out of it. So hope that helps. Good point though about, again, the confirmation about shaded areas of the lawn really causing a lot of the problems. All right, Helmut Ruckus says, I put down Spectracide granular in the middle of October and want to do it again now. Then in the spring, put down prodiamine. Too much? Yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't. Let me think. So the weed stop is rated for the dithapir, the pre-emergent that's in that is rated for 4 to 5 months under ideal conditions. So if you did October, November, December, January, February. Yeah, so if we figure that, let's say we got 4 months out of it, that means like February-ish, it's starting to wear off, and at that point, you're about due to put down your spring prodiamine. So I wouldn't. Too much pre-emergent also is also not a good thing. I mean, especially if you're not seeing weeds in your lawn, no reason to do it. Right? If you're not seeing like any weed growth, there's no reason to go through the trouble of doing that. I wouldn't put down, unless there's outside of your spring and fall pre-emergence. The only time I might consider doing another pre-emergent application outside of that is if I top dressed my lawn and I added a lot of organic material. A couple of weeks after that, I might do a pre-emergent application to try and prevent or slow down the amount of weeds that I get. But outside of that, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't go much more than twice a year, because typically you just don't need it. If you're doing all the other stuff right, twice per year is typically good. Helmet. So I hope that helps answer your question. Super TA, thank you so much for the super chat, sir. I appreciate it.
Super chat received.
Thank you. I know you said that. He says, I have cool season grass, but I find your content and live streams to be top notch. I really appreciate it, sir. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. All right. Let's go back up here. Let's see what other questions we have. We are winding down, guys. We've been going for a little over 2 hours now. LG says, help, my lawn is dormant and unable to grow. I'm unable to mow daily. Now my family expects me to interact with them. Where did I go wrong? And what product should I use to prevent this from happening again next season? I don't know, LG. Like, now's the time of year when it's supposed to be hanging out with family, right? I don't want to give you advice that's going to get you and get me in trouble with Mrs. LG. I think you just kind of let the lawn go to rest right now and relax, and when springtime rolls around again, you just start mowing again. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool question. It's a funny question, but yeah, no, I would just hang out with your family. I'm looking forward to it myself, just taking some time off. So, and to that point, I'm not sure if next week Friday is actually Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So I'm guessing you guys probably don't want to have a live stream on Christmas Day. If you do, let me know. Or if anything, I can just pop in here for a little bit and I can log on and see who wants any questions. But I probably won't schedule one on for Christmas Day, because I figure you're going to be out having Christmas dinner, ham, turkey, whatever you decide to have, whatever you do, whatever your tradition is with your family. But yeah, probably next Friday might not be a thing, unless you guys really want it. Just let me know. All right, Doug says your answer was perfect. Thank you, Doug. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you found it useful. And let's see what other questions we have here. We're starting to wind down. Timothy, it's a great question here. It says, when you top dress, how often should you water? So when I top dress Timothy, for the first week, I water every day. I not heavy, not full rate, but I run irrigation every day for the first week, and then after that I go back to my normal cycle. So just to make sure there's plenty of water on the soil to help the grass come through a little bit faster. So for the first week, I water every day, and then after that, I just go back to my normal cycle. But great question. That's a good question. I guess I can't believe I haven't covered that one. But yeah, that's my process, and I'll make sure when I do the top dressing portion of the course that I'm putting together that I go into excruciating detail on that portion, because it's something that I'm sure other people will have too, and a question other people will have as well too. Ron, what's on your mowing playlist? Oh, dude, my mowing playlist is boring. I'll have like a podcast on or something like that. It's nothing too exciting. Like I listen to a podcast on, like I listen to audiobooks or I listen to podcasts. I don't, or I'll put Spotify on and just hit like top 40, like the current like whatever's regular music. If I'm not listening to a podcast or an audiobook. So yeah, mine's pretty boring. It's pretty unexciting. And Card Player 85 says, have you ever verticut your yard? Yes, I have. Actually, I can show you when I did it. I think I did it in 2018, I think, is when it was done. I actually had a service come out and do it. They brought a big tractor out and did the entire lawn. Next year, though, the lawn will get verticut again. And if you guys are interested, I've got a 2-video series on this. Let's see, verticut video. You can check that out right there. So that's a video showing, that's part 1 of a 2-part video series showing like when the lawn was verticut and how much material came out of lawn from being verticut. But I have done it before, and I will definitely do it next year as part of my top dressing project. Card Player 85. Great question. Oh, Raul Sox. Hey man, what's up, man? Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for stepping in the live stream, man. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And JG says at Ricky, leave it till springs. Great answer. I agree, JG. And then SMK giving us a scientific answer. He says bent is too hard to maintain. It's super finicky and it gets fungus easy. That's the one thing I have heard about bent grass SMK is that as far as lawn disease, like whenever you start reading about like different products that take care of lawn fungus, like bent grass is always mentioned as one of the ones because it's one of the I'm not sure what it is about that particular type of grass that makes it more prone to lawn disease. But he says that it's also cool season. It's hard to maintain in hot weather. A nice warm season cultivar that puts well is dwarf Bermuda. So I guess if we were going to do a putting green, then do a dwarf Bermuda. Sounds good. Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for chiming in. And there you go. There's your answer about Moro about bent grass, is why that's probably not the best idea for the South. Great answer. Great answer. I. Linton says, what are you asking Santa for this year? Ron, what am I asking it for? I am asking Santa for a quiet holiday season where I can spend time scripting and filming content for this course that I'm trying to put together. That's what I would like. I would like there to be just quiet, quiet for a little while, not like drama with different countries doing cyber attacks against the nation and creating a bunch of headache and work for me and all this kind of nonsense. I would like not too much. All I want is just quiet and peace for Christmas. I have pretty much everything that I want for the most part. Just quiet, a little bit of free time, a little bit of downtime would be awesome. It says, Ron, were you able to attend Site One's Christmas party? I didn't know they were having a Christmas party. No one told me, man. If they were having one, nobody told me. I didn't know. So the answer is no. I didn't know they were having a Christmas party. I can't believe they would be. I don't think they would. I think you're messing with me. I think they would really have one this time of year anyway, given everything with COVID. But if you are not messing with me, they actually did have a Christmas party. No, I was not invited, so I did not go. Let's see. We're winding down here, guys. I've talked you guys out. We're at almost 9:15, 9:16. Got a couple more questions here, and then we'll close it out. So the Wind Chariot says, heavy rain for a period of time can decrease the effectiveness of your pre-emergent. It can. That is true. It can. But it's not going to take it to zero. And I would still limit, if you can, your pre-emergent to only a couple times a year. Like when it comes to any of the sides, your herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, use it as little as you have to. Like keep poisons out of your lawn, out of your turf as much as you possibly can. And then SMK, he's chiming in. He says, "Yep, here we go. Heavy rain." See, it's funny because literally I answered one question and I read out a little more and then someone's giving me probably a better answer than I'm going to give. But SMK says, heavy rain washing away pre-emergent is a myth. The chemical binds tightly in the soil, so unless you receive a wash that removes an inch layer of soil, you'll be fine, especially if you use a liquid pre-emergent. So that's a great point. So using, especially in the winter months, like when we get like down here we don't get as much snow, but you tend to get more rain. It stays more damp. using something like a Spectacle Flow, which is a very high quality liquid pre-emergent, that's going to do pretty well. And then like a prodiamine in the spring, and you're going to be just fine. So again, that literally prodiamine and Spectacle Flow is the recipe that like most of the lawn care services around here use, and the reason why is because it works. You know, the thing about it, they don't want callbacks, they don't want a lot of headaches with people getting weeds in their lawn, and that's a good concoction where you're balancing an effective pre-emergent against a really good one that costs a lot more. It's going to work better over the winter months. So yeah, great answer, SMK. And then Jay says more equipment. That's what I want for Christmas. I'm trying to think, what else do I need? No, I don't really need anything as far as more equipment. I'm actually pretty good. I don't really have anywhere else to really put any more equipment. So I'm pretty good. So as far as next Friday's live stream, so here's what will happen. Next Friday is going to be Christmas Day. What I will do, I don't know if YouTube still lets us do polls anymore, but you guys tell me, do you guys want a live stream? Do you guys want a live stream next Friday? It's going to be Christmas Day, I think. Let me check my calendar, make sure I'm right here. It is going to be Christmas Day. I have no issue with doing it because I'm not going to be doing anything really. For Friday evening, but if you guys want it, I will jump on. Even if it's a shorter one, we can hang out for a little bit. Even if it's like 30 minutes, an hour, just to chat and see. You know what? It actually might be fun. I could find out what you guys got for Christmas. You know, maybe if Lawn Care Sound I gave you guys something cool, we can chat about that. So yeah, actually, what we'll do is we will have one. I'm not seeing a bunch of no's in here, so I'll take that as a passive yes or whatever you want to do. How about that? And then finally, Winchard says he's thanking SMK for the comment. So yeah, so awesome. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out tonight. I really truly do appreciate it. It's always fun. It's always great to be able to interact with you guys and you know, answer questions, get answers to certain questions, and have like experts in the industry like SMK come in and help out and share his knowledge with us as well. As far as next week, I will do the live stream next week. It looks like everyone still wants that, which is still cool. Also, if you are interested in hearing more about the lawn or being notified whenever I do put the lawn care course together, as I start pushing out some updates or content for people to get to look at and give me some reviews, some feedback on, definitely check out this link, golfcourselawn.com. That's where that's going to be. And as always, if there's anything I can help with at all, be sure to let me know. Please, on your way out, definitely give me a like of this live stream. If you guys are not yet a subscriber to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's right there. It's really small. Just you can reach over. You can do it. I promise you, I'm not going to let you down as far as giving you guys great content. And I think that's all I have for this week, guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a very Merry Christmas, season's greetings. Make sure you have lots of time with your loved ones. Make sure you get your Christmas shopping done, and I guess I will talk to you guys next week. And here's the thing: next week, I'll tell you guys what the question is going to be. The question next week is going to be, what did you get for Christmas? I want to know what you guys got, and hopefully some of it's going to be lawn care stuff. Hopefully it's going to be some cool things you guys got. Cheryl, LG, Timothy, Chris, everyone else that's on here, JG, Wind Chariot, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Have a very safe and happy holiday season. Until next Friday, take care.